Are you trying your hardest to climb SR, but keep losing games? Do you waste your ults every time you try to use them? Maybe you have a few heroes you want to learn, but have no idea where to start? Then you should join WaWa's Boot Camp. WaWa's Boot Camp is a Discord server with tons of pros and coaches standing by to help you become better at Overwatch. Our coaches are all volunteers with tons of great advice for people who want to get better. You'll be spectated.
Hello everyone, I hope you're doing fine. My name is Skyline. Joining me today is Matrym. This is such an exciting event. I'm really pleased to be a part of it. WaWa's Bootcamp. I'm Amateur Rising, where pro coaches teach average Joes, well, how to teach like pros. How are you doing today, Matrym?
Oh, I am insanely excited about this event. It's very rare, and this is like a new breed of an event that we haven't got to see before inside of Overwatch. We're going to be able to see coaches actually specifically work with players and have these teams competing against each other. So it's a real great way to see like the impact of coaching. And let's talk about specifically WaWa's Bootcamp and the Discord itself and how great of a coaching and just community that it is. All in all, I like every aspect of what this event's going to bring. It's really interesting and exciting to see what's going to happen.
I'm just very interested in how great of a lineup of coaches we have, and we're going to get into in just a bit, but I'm sure you've heard of teams like Selfless, Rocket Esports. We just have some great stuff for you. Actually, let's go ahead and explain our format real quick. So we have 4 games for you today between all of our 8 teams. So we have 8 teams competing, 8 coaches competing as well. So remember, these are 8 pro coaches teaching 8 teams of what a lot of people would consider just average players, you know, platinum, low diamond-ish, very just normal players to play as well as they can, and of course for phenomenal prizes as well that we'll get into in just a bit. But we have 4 best of ones. Today is Hollywood Day, so the coaches all prep their teams to play Hollywood as well as possible. And so each of our matches will be, our first matches will be at 12 o'clock EST. This is all EST, 12 o'clock, second match at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, then 3 o'clock will be our final match. And our first match will be against Legit RC versus Mooses. Tell us a little bit about the casters, Matrym.
Well, the coaches themselves, Legit RC is a name that a lot of people should be familiar with because he comes from Selfless. And we know that Selfless is very, very innovative in styles that they play. Specifically, they're known for a hyper-aggressive comp where they can push people all the way back to spawn on attack or push everybody back to spawn on defense. They're so insanely aggressive. And I'm really curious to see how Legit RC is going to work with him. His partner is a guy named Dice. He's presently a University of North Dakota student, and he's been playing competitively since he was 8 years old in Halo 2. He's really gotten involved with Overwatch, and what these 2 coaches have really been focused on with their team is to make sure that they were very bonded together. They had some synergy working together, was to make them build experience as a team, so that way they could play together and really. That's what a big part of this competitive Overwatch style is synergies, communication. So I really like that approach of going first. Like, don't work on mechanics, don't work on specific other stuff. Try to get everybody communicating and synergized together.
It's very important. I think it's very important for these teams to go for the long-term game, right? If you try to be as good as you possibly can this week, maybe you're not setting your team up for success in the following weeks. You need to establish a good base. And Legit RC says that they were focusing on mostly just cohesion. He was intentionally, actually, I think this was interesting, he was intentionally making his team scrim against stronger teams that he suspected they couldn't beat in order to get them used to failure so they wouldn't get tilted, they wouldn't get mad in game. So it's something that they would be used to.
Tilt resistance and playing from behind is very, very big part of playing Overwatch, because the way that it works on a regular basis, specifically, you have to have that chutzpah to be able to last through multiple rounds of an event. Specifically, once we start getting into things like King of the Hill matches, you can just get decimated in the first match of a King of the Hill match, but then you can just turn it all the way around. So that tilt resistance is really, really important to build very, very early.
Our next team is Moostis, coached by Moose from WGB, and so he's played professional games since he was 16. He started with Call of Duty, and now he's, of course, in Overwatch. He started with the Agents Rising LAN, where he took top 16, very successful. And he's focusing this week on team play. So that's a pretty common theme. Most coaches are getting their teams just coordinated, figuring out how to do their comms and all that. But he's also focusing specifically on ultimate management, and that's something that we see can win or lose games. We talk about this in pro matches that we cast. We talk about this in semi-pro amateur matches as well. Knowing how to manage your ults sometimes can just win the game by itself, no matter how good your team is or how good your individual players are.
Specifically right now, the meta is very dependent on synergizing several ultimates together. So that way you use like one ultimate and then stack it in with another one, so that way you can try to get those full-on team kills. So maintaining good ultimate synergies, making sure that you control your ultimate use, because that's a big factor, specifically for newer players. They just get their ultimates and then they don't communicate the use of them with each other, and they're just like, oh my god, let's just use everything, and then people will blow all 6 ultimates and then have nothing left in the tank for the next fight and instantly lose the next fight. So maintaining that level of structure and saying, okay, this is a core part of how to play Overwatch, let's focus on this, also can have a lot of use. I really like the fact that we're going to see 2 styles going in against each other. Both of them are kind of based in synergy, but one is much more about tilt resistance, staying strong, communicating, and the other one is communicating specifically on ult use and trying to go for the wins inside of fights.
Hey guys, we're going to get into this match in just a moment, but before that, we have some stuff to give away. So we have 4 games today, 4 items to give away. We have 3 awesome mouse pads, big, thick mouse pads. These are the mouse pads you want. Let me tell you. And then we also have a little chibi soldier figure. And man, it's so cute. It's not a real soldier. He's not gonna shoot you and all that stuff. Just a little toy. Now, to enter this, all you have to do is just be active in chat. There's no command. Just be active in the chat. I think you need to talk like once in every 10 minutes in order to proc the bot to see you, and you'll be entered. All you have to do is you have to be following the channel as well. You have to be following WaWa's Bootcamp on Twitch. Also, check them out on Twitter at WaWa's Bootcamp. They also have the giveaway there as well. And so, like I said, guys, 3 mouse pads, 1 soldier. Will be giving away 1 in between each of our rounds.
I really like this. It's just super simple. All you have to do is just be involved inside a chat. No specific commands, no nothing. All you have to do is just be participating and being like, hey, what's up? Or just like put in a random period every once in a while if you're like that shy introvert in the back that doesn't want to talk. Just throw out an emote every once in a while. Not too terribly difficult. But I have to admit, these HyperX mouse pads are really, really strong. I used one for a very long period of time. And additionally, come on, dude, that soldier figure is pretty awesome. I specifically like the way that the visor looks inside of it. Like it's got that glossy effect to it. And let's be real, we all like the pop figurines. I have more than I should. I say it's my wife. My wife always gets them. It's not me.
Oh yeah. And we're gonna get into the game in 1 second. These prizes that we have to talk about what these teams have been playing for. Why is this important, right? So the coaches, so for the winners, the coaches get a prize. The winning coach gets a prize, and then of course their team gets a prize as well. But the prize for the coach is so awesome. It's a pair of shoes, but they're not just any shoes, right, Matrym?
Oh no, these are specifically handcrafted, like painted, full on. Like these shoes are ridiculously nice, and have the artist that's made these before has had a price tag go for $5,000 before. So these are going to be like I don't even know, like how do you describe how ridiculously awesome these shoes are going to be, because you can have them custom made for you. Everybody wants some like really cool shoes, and these are going to be for professional coaches. So that means that they're going to be able to stroll into events that their teams are playing in, wearing these just like wicked shoes. It's going to be awesome.
These shoes are more expensive than all of my shoes I've ever owned in my entire life combined. We'll just put it that way.
I've had cars that have been worth less than this before. So, like, I mean, come on. Like, I drove, like, the worst beater car for a long period of time that was breaking down all the time. If I had even been given these shoes at the time, I wouldn't have wanted to use them because I was like, I can't get them dirty.
Oh my gosh, I know. I gotta say, I'm a little jealous. I would want some, man. What hero would you get on the shoes? Because you can get any Overwatch hero you want on these shoes. They're custom made. What hero would you get? Have you thought about that?
Oh, I didn't even really contemplate it.
know,
I mean, I'd have to stick with my boy Reinhardt. I mean, imagine
right.
like a Reinhardt charging on the shoes would have to look wicked.
Trace. I think Tracer shoes would be pretty cool too, because they kind of fit. Tracer runs around, with the man. I don't know. There's just so many good options. I would want just one for every hero. That would probably be a little out of reach.
Oh
man,
just a couple $100,000. No big deal.
No, not a big deal. Oh my god. Maybe that'll be the prize pool for the next event we run like this. One pair for each hero.
So what we have going on right now is we're waiting for one of the players to come into lobby everybody. So that's why we've got a little bit of a conversation that's happening right now. But it should be noted that this is going to be a multi-week event as we're going through this, as we've kind of hinted and alluded to beforehand.
Yes.
Naturally, this is going to be the first day we have going on, so we'll have the 4 matches, and so we'll have 4 matches every single time. To help out with the coaching structure, every single coach was told what the maps are going to be before we even get going. So they can specifically focus, and this week, as we said, is Hollywood. So there'll be every single week there'll be different maps that we're going to be going through. So you'll see these players kind of evolve and grow and see how much growth that they can get out of it. Now, if you yourself are looking to get some coaching, or if you just want to be part of a great community, I very much recommend that everybody join WaWa's Discord. It's a great community. I came into it, and within a few minutes, people were talking to me. Really nice, really polite. Everybody's there to help. It's one of the best organized and most helpful Discords that I've been a part of inside of Overwatch, and I'm a part of a lot of communities, so that says something.
I can't believe, and yeah, Matrym, absolutely. We're just waiting for one more player here to get into the lobby. He had to restart his computer. He'll be here in just a second. Don't worry, guys. I know it's the patience, getting a little bit impatient. But yeah, let me just say, WaWa's Bootcamp, so impressive. There are a lot of coaching Discords, and I'm not going to diss any of them. They're all great, right? But WaWa's Bootcamp, just the amount of coordination, organization, professionalism, for free, by the way. This is free. We're not advertising a product you buy, right? By the way, this is just a community of people who love the game, who want to see particularly higher level Overwatch grow. But it's individual coaching as well, of course. That's a really popular thing. It's just phenomenal, Matrym. It's something I love to see. I love to see it.
What I'm very interested to see as we're going to be moving into this match is how these teams are going to be specifically played. We're already seeing some icon synergy getting going, which is really, really nice. You guys can't see it since you're not in lobby, but you can already see like they're starting to get in some developments of synergies. That was what both of these teams are very, very focused on. And Hollywood has a lot of different synergistic points that we need to look at, such as the first push to try to claim the point. Defense in streets usually requires a lot of synergy, a lot of communication. And then just that final attack push into the third phase where you have to essentially team wipe somebody in order to get to the cart to the point. I think that it's going to be really interesting to see how these different approaches that these coaches have taken will impact different points of the map, specifically since they focused in on these synergies.
I love the format in that you can just focus on one map at a time. It really will show off the coach's skills very well. Like, we're going to see some sick strats. Let me just tell you. We might even see cooler strats than you see in pro matches, just because this isn't a pro match, right? These coaches are pro coaches, but they're messing with, players, the platinum diamond players, so they can try out some cool strategies that they wouldn't normally have be viable at their normal in their normal team environment. So I'm wondering if any coaches will become maybe a little creative with what we have here. And Hollywood is a map especially for these crazy sorts of strats.
Well, these are the type of events that breed innovation more than anything else. Whenever you've got like $30,000 on the line, the teams have to play for what they know can win. And sometimes you do see something kind of sneaky and something cheese come out. But whenever you're dealing with teams that are just pulling themselves together, that are trying to go for victories, and the victory is more important than necessarily a prize pool, you see teams tend to play a little bit more risky. Specifically, that was what gave rise to a lot of the selfless style of play, which Legit RC was a part of, which is going to be one of the first teams that we're going to be seeing. So I'm really curious to see how he's going to bring that level in and like say, okay, just go like whole hog, no pun intended, straight into him, try to push him as far back as you can. Like, I wonder if they've gotten into that level of control and fighting style yet, or if that's still the next stage that's coming. I just want to see how these teams develop every week. It's going to be so much fun.
That's what I want to look forward to. Like, it's not just about this one game, and there he is, Stitchery-Doo got into the lobby. So we'll be starting this in just a second, guys. But that's what I want to see. It's not about this one game, right? This week, it'll be cool. We get to see sort of what the coaches have done after just 1 week, but these next coming weeks will be the best. You know, maybe this week, Moostis is just going to roll everyone, right? Maybe this week, Moose is just going to be so good, so strong. But then, you know, maybe the other teams will learn it. It really depends, because there are short-term coaching strategies where it's like, we'll just do really well this week and maybe not have as much long-term groundwork built up. And then there are longer-term strategies where, hey, you know, we'll start out slow, but we'll be building up the groundwork for a great team in the future.
Well, there's also the other side of this, where this could be the first time that some of these coaches will see how the other teams play and specifically what their strategies and strengths are. So that's what's cool about this being a coaching event. Not only are the coaches going to be studying like how their players work, they have to study how all the other teams work and try to be figuring out strategies to go against them. So this first week is going to be a lot of, okay, just bring what you got, see what you can do, try to get those wins, try to lean into your strategies that you've started working on. And then we're going to have to start seeing all of these strategies develop based off of their opponents. Specifically, since we're only looking at about 8 teams, that's where this is going to get really, really juicy the further it gets in.
Oh, I'm ready for the juiciness. Plus, I mean, after the matches, we're gonna get to bring the coaches in, maybe even bring a player in or two, and ask them what happened after the game. So I'm really excited for that part as well. I think we have everyone in. We're gonna start in just a second. So, like I said, this is Team Moosis versus Team Legit RC with his partner, his partner coach Dice. Legit RC coaches for Selfless, and I think that from personally reading these two coaches, what they've been focusing on this week, I think they're perfect. I think these teams might actually start out a little bit slow because of the coaching style. It's very much long term, seeing what's they're seeing what they can do with their team, building up the confidence, building up maybe the communication a little bit. But here we are. We're getting into the game. Let's go, Matrym.
Oh, and so it begins. The first match of WaWa's Bootcamp Series. Let's get this underway. Everything's coming together now, starting in 5 seconds. Okay, so remember everybody to be active in chat as we're going through this. Oh, he just jumps in. So remember everybody be active inside of chat so that way you can know exactly, you can have chances for getting these prizes that we're going to be giving away. And with this, we should also take a second to talk about the players themselves. On the blue side, we've got Komomi, Oblivion, Nyx, Subpar Player, Aros Gran, Stitchery-Doo, and on the other side, we've got Alpaca, Ty VP, Lemon, Zig, Ayak, and Megatron.
Yes, so you can't forget about the individual players themselves. That is a huge part of this as well. No matter how phenomenal of a coach you have, the players have to put the effort in, or, well, not much you can do.
And these players have been putting in a lot of effort. We've been seeing them do scrims. We've been seeing them doing a lot of one-on-one coaching sessions.
Yeah, so much effort.
This is a group of players that all want to grow and they want to be as strong as they possibly can. So big part of this event is I'm willing to bet that we're going to be seeing this event occur several times throughout the year. So if this is something that interests you, definitely make sure you join the community, become part of it, and maybe we could be seeing you in one of these events the further we go on. With this, we've got Stitchery-Doo is going to be running out, throwing down the Tourbillon.
We were talking about the strats. We were talking about the strats. I'm ready for it.
This is something we do see in a higher level play on a regular basis. The positioning is fairly obvious, though, so that means that people can see it from the spawn. The effective nature of it, we'll have to see. But look, we're running a Symmetra and a Tourbillon.
This could be a couple different strats. I think the more popular one lately has been Orisa Tourbillon, but Symmetra Tourbillon is itself, a strat. It's a little bit more old school, I think, at this point, but it's still quite strong. They will know that there's a Tourbillon, though, on this attacking team.
Now, a big part of the Defenders comp that they're running right now with this whole builder comp that they have going is they are only running one support. So subpar player has to not live up to his name. He has to be an amazing player right now.
To be the
and
best
make sure that
player,
he keeps
dude.
all of these people alive, and he has to watch his position because if he gets caught out, that is ultimate death for the defense.
No more symmetric turrets anymore, so the symmetric turrets were put at the choke to slow them down. It did slow the attackers down a little bit. But now going up back through alley, a hook onto Nyx on this. Oh, Reinhardt's so in trouble. He managed to live through it though. Zix gets another hook as well. Oh no, the attackers have lost their Reinhardt, and without that, they have to get back. There's no way they can push through that without a Reinhardt shield. I thought that the defenders were in so much trouble when their Reinhardt got pulled. Nyx got pulled very early on, but he managed to live.
I have to say Argos was a big part of that. The moment Reinhardt got pulled in, saw him in a horrible position, we saw the Symmetra shield fly right through him to give him the ability to step back, throw up his own shield, and make it back to the rest of his team. And again, a big part of this is subpar player has to keep people alive. We saw a very nice sleep dart come out on a charging Reinhardt to make sure the attacking Reinhardt couldn't get back inside the team. So we're seeing some really nice synergy and really nice play off the get-go. And the attackers have now moved up on the top of Cafe, trying to get some harass down, looking for specific targets to drop into.
A little bit of a different push this time, so note where the Torbjorn turret is on the right-hand side. Only 50% ultimate for the Torbjorn so far, so a bit slow. He's not going to have that molten core. Whoa, that was almost an insane hook. Unfortunately got nicked by the car there. That was a, by the way, this is Legit RC's team on the attacking side, so Legit RC's team almost got a hook onto the defending Ana, but it unfortunately got line of sighted by the car. Oh, a very aggressive Earthshatter there.
Well, we are looking at the team that is presently being coached by Selfless right now. That was a very aggressive Earthshatter coming out, and you're very true, trying to get something off of it. They do manage to pick up 2 kills onto the attackers.
I can definitely see it. I can definitely see it. So I see the Selfless coming out of this defending team right now. He was probably like, be aggressive on defense. Go up. And that was a very aggressive Earthshatter. He got two. But they actually have a lot to fall back on now. They have the Torbjorn ultimate. It will be up 90% unless something tragic happens. Oh, it's up already, 100%.
We're at 1 minute and 30 seconds, so 1 to 2 more pushes for the attacking team. You can see that they're trying to zero in. They're really trying to target down subpar player. They saw the hook come through, pull him, but unfortunately got caught across the car, so it didn't get pulled up into the rest of the team.
They have nothing to hunt down this teleporter right now, so they need to really have a very strong push here. Barrier comes out. No hooks yet. There's actually a Torbjorn ultimate coming out. Oh, yeah, Ana gets killed by it from behind. Doing so much damage right now. No one is taking care of that Torbjorn turret. It takes out the Ana, it takes out the ulted soldier. It's so, you can't push through that. It's so difficult. That all-in sort of push, Torbjorn counters that so well with Molten Core.
Well, it wasn't just Torbjorn. Whenever they dropped down, immediately they fell into Symmetra turrets, and you saw them just doing a ridiculous amount of damage on everybody's backside, specifically going and doing a lot of damage to Zarya. But the turrets have to go down. They have to be a target, and they have to be a priority. Specifically, the fact that Zarya died to them means that they have trouble locating these. All they have to do is your Zarya is turn around and just narrow sweep. Just take them down. There we go. Ty is coming forward, trying to get some damage in, but goes down to Roadhog.
Well, we're seeing a little. So it's pretty clear that they just taught this one strat. They have 20 seconds left. They still have another push. There's no Torbjorn ultimate to stop them at this point. So they do have they have that going for them, but maybe a Graviton. We'll have to see. Normally, teams would be picking dive into this.
8 seconds.
Oh,
Roadhog
sleep gets canceled. Canceled, but triple Earthshatter. Only 1 second remaining. Somebody needs to get onto the point. No!
Wow, that was such a good job of body blocking by Legit RC's team. They just put body after body, making sure nobody could touch that point.
I can't believe that they were able to. That was such good presence of mind by the individual players. Now, would they have taken the fight regardless? We don't know. It was looking maybe a little bit in the defender side, but the attackers still could have won that. They still had the Graviton. They still had the players left, but the body blocking from the Reinhardt player, from Nyx, was just it single-handedly prevented anyone from Moose's team from getting onto the point, and because of that,
good awareness, understanding the fact that time is coming down, knowing what the other team is doing, and making them play into you. That is a big part of Overwatch, is understanding what the enemy team is going to do, and to be trying to play against it and counter their strategies as that we're going through. So we saw a very nice defense coming off in the first round. Now it's all just a matter of can the attackers get up to that first chevron. You can see the fact, if you're looking at the minimap right now, it is the yellow mark. They just have to get 33% of this point capped. Means that the defenders have to live onto this point. And you talking about beforehand, look, we are seeing the Orisa Torbjorn strategy come out the gates.
This is a little bit more of the the more modern strat is the Torb Rissa strategy. And it's just good because you have such a saturation of threats. There's so many threats that the attacking team has to deal with. They can't deal with it all at the same time, and this will be very, very difficult. Semi-pro, high-level teams have trouble being coordinated enough to actually push through this Torbrissa strat. We'll have to see if Legit RC gave his team the tools they need. This is a pretty interesting lineup. This is very interesting. Solo
if you guys are
Mercy.
not familiar with... Oh, okay, go ahead.
Solo Mercy. So it's the Mercy Pharaoh, right? With a Hanzo and no healers for any of these other players. So Roadhog can heal himself, Soldier can heal himself, but this Reinhardt will have to be a little bit careful.
It's all-out aggression. I think that we're seeing again the influence of the Selfless style coming into play. The shield from the Orisa is now down in front of the Torbjorn turret. That is the foundation for how this comp works. Pretty much, you put the Torbjorn turret in a very visible location, and Orisa has to constantly keep throwing down shields to protect it, as if it's a sixth member of the team.
Well, Rocket's going to the shield right now. They need to be careful. Lemon, great flank from the side. The defenders need to hold this.
We do see the turret does go down. This is forcing Alpaca to come back, set up another turret. Orisa's coming back to stand right next to him.
Look at that. Big hook onto Lemon. No Roadhog anymore. Roadhog, such a crucial player for this defense. Zones out so much area, preventing the attackers from pushing through. A charge, though, onto Nyx from Zig. Takes out a lot of health. He's purple. Look at how low he is. He has no health. One more hit from anything takes him out. No more attacking Reinhardt. And we've seen how difficult it is for attackers to push through that Reinhardt.
Switcher Ju seems to be focused specifically on trying to take out this.
Oh, that resurrect.
And the res is
That's
so
the coup d'etat.
huge.
I don't know about that. We'll have to see. Kumoni with an ultimate. All we have left is a Molten Core Torbjorn. Well, is he the hero they need? It doesn't look like it. There's no teleport for this composition because they're running an Orisa. Fantastic push. And that Mercy res really just cleaned it up. Subpar player. Great positioning from him. But Hollywood is just a relatively strong map in general to get those resurrects off.
We have to give much congratulations to Legit RC and DICE for getting the first win on the very first round. We are now going to start getting ready for the second round, which I believe, let me bring up our schedule over here, is going to be Rocket Esports versus Packet.
Yes, Rocket Esports versus Buffalo. And well, we'll have to. We'll see. This play of the game, yeah. We saw this before. The Torbjorn just absolutely shutting down that all-in push. 43% of team damage healed by subpar player. That is not subpar. That's above par, actually. That's like an eagle or a birdie, I'd have to say. We're getting thick with these golf jokes.
It's no surprise. We saw two Torbjorns come out, and they were very, very strong, specifically in the placement of their Torbjorn turrets. So naturally, we have to have a Torbjorn play of the game. We did get the traditional Torbjorn being slept in, kind of like taking a nap play of the game. Those are always kind of fun to see, as long as you're not on the enemy team. Sometimes those can be tilt-worthy. And so with this, we have to give much congratulations to Legit RC, DICE, Kumomi, Oblivion, Nick Subar Player, Argos Gran, and Stitchery Dude.
Fantastic job. That was some pretty clean Hollywood play, I have to say. Of course, Moose's team, they were no slouches either. They looked like they were a little bit, well, it's hard, right? They only had one. This is the first week they've played. They're only having 1 month to deal with this. So they just had one very focused strategy. And it didn't look like they could really get out of it very much. Did you see that? They just had that one all-in deathball strategy, and it was hard countered by the Torbjorn Symmetra.
I think that that's kind of the de facto way that you start learning competitive Overwatch, though, is the deathball strategy. It's not necessarily the worst thing to lean into. We saw them take multiple different approaches and different paths. The other team was responding so well. It's not necessarily the fact that Moostis was having any, like, there wasn't necessarily a specific trouble with their comp, it was that they were having a lot of trouble breaking into legit RC and Dice's defensive strategy that was in place. And you could see that they weren't necessarily, they were taking the right ideas and going, okay, let's try this approach, but they just couldn't get around the response that legit RC and Dice were bringing. So that's a big part of the mind game. You have to know what the defenders are going to do, know the fact that they're trying to counter what you're trying to bring, and then play around that. It becomes really mind gamey whenever you're dealing with six people all in comms and communicating through. And it sounds like we're going to be getting an interview with Dice and Oblivion, coach and player from the winning team. So we'll be getting them in just a second. As for the next matches, we're also going to start trying to get those underway. We'll be talking with the coaches and seeing where we're at with those.
Yeah, so, I mean, what we think is great, but let's talk to, well, Dice and Oblivion, that's the coach, or the co-coach, and one of the players for the winning team we just saw. And they're coming in right now. So how's it going, Dice? Oh, never mind. He left. He'll be back in a second. I definitely, they showed, I thought that strat was kind of crazy, right? Having, well, that Hanzo wound up just being for the Sonic arrow, by the way. Remember I was saying it's kind of crazy they're picking Hanzo? I forgot, it was just for the Sonic arrow. So they were actually running a Mercy and a Lucio with that composition. How's it going, Dice?
Oh, it's going amazing.
Well, yeah, you guys just won.
That's the voice of victory right there. Oh, it's so good.
I'm genuinely so proud of my team right now. I feel like I need to take them all for ice cream after this.
If only. Well, so going into Hollywood, you guys you were running the Torb Symmetra. I was saying how that was a little bit more old school, like Orisa Symmetra is maybe the more modern, like turtly version. Why'd you go with Torb Symmetra over anything else you could have done?
Well, when I was first introduced to the team, none of my players actually had experience with Orisa, so we worked our way around it and just went to the more traditional route. We tried many different strategies, and it seems like turtling was actually one of the best strategies was with Symmetra. And not only that, we experimented with Symmetra portal placement. I don't know if you noticed, but we put the portal placement on top of the tower.
Yes.
We've actually clutched many scrimmages doing that, and so I was yeah.
We've had I think 2 scrimmages where they simply didn't find it. Like they went looking like in the back and they just didn't find it top. So they wiped us, and then we ended up coming as 6 from the top, and they're just completely wiping them for the full hold.
Now, I have a question specifically for you, Oblivion. What's it like moving into this realm and having like professional coaches talking to you, analyzing it? Is it like really invigorating, being like, oh, I'm seeing lots of improvements, or is it like intimidating and you're like, okay, I can't mess up, I don't want to piss him off?
The answer is honestly going to be both. It's been honestly amazing getting like review on like where I'm standing, like where I should be, and then like understanding like what the calls should be in like certain situations. That's been really awesome. But at the same time, it's like I need to be always trying my hardest, otherwise like I don't want to disappoint them at the same time. So it's honestly been both. It's both been intimidating and invigorating.
And so Dice, what's it like working with a fresh new group of players? I know that you've been coaching for a while now, so having this group that's just like trying to work their way up. Have you noticed like differences in what you've normally dealt with whenever you've been dealing with teams, or is this like are they much more thirsty, or is like what's your opinion on dealing with this?
Well, first things first is when I first met them, they all wanted to improve, and so and seeing how we're a team, I got them to get to know each other by a first name basis since day one. And one of the things is that we did other games. Actually, we didn't dive right straight into Overwatch. We actually played other games like PUBG and such, because I wanted to make sure like these guys give a crap about each other. Like they all are going to work well together. They're going to deal with failure. Sorry, could you repeat the question one more time?
Oh, I was just saying what it was like dealing with a younger, like less experienced group of players.
It was hard. Everyone actually had like competitive experience from competitive Overwatch, but it's nothing compared to an actual team experience. We actually have one player who actually like does consistently solo queue plays where he tries to always like get a flanking kill by himself at all times. So you're like trying to
Is that you, Oblivion? Is he calling you out right now?
No, that's not me. I would describe him as basically the Harblue of our team.
The Harblue of our team. As you may see, he will try to do like the cheekiest plays, and trying to get them to work as a team rather than trying to do like be the star of the match is like one of his biggest challenge.
So what's like the biggest challenge in general for the team? So I would imagine that it would be comms. But what was your biggest challenge?
Comms are incredibly challenging.
To go on that, when we first started, it was actually trying to figure out like what is useful information, what isn't useful information. Like normally people make like comments such as, "Oh no, that Rojo got me," and it's just like, it's not necessarily really good information. Calling out where they are and what they're looking for and what they're doing is more useful. We found out, and we're just consistently filtering out comms. Like since like day one, everyone's excited, everyone's ready to do these call outs, and figuring out what is important and what isn't was my priority.
That's great. I noticed in because you wrote up the thing on your priority. So you said you were intentionally making them scrim against stronger teams to set them up for failure. So it's like they get used to it. If losing isn't the end of the world, it's a lot easier to not freak out if you start to lose.
Exactly. And it was just like I wanted them to actually lose, right? Because if they just play against these easier teams, I feel like we'd get less from VOD reviews when we went over it. Oblivion, any thoughts on that?
No, it's absolutely true. So when we were scrimming Nix's team, so he's also on another team that plays together a lot. So we scrimmed against them, and they're, I think, 3,500 average. So the first time we played them, we lost every single map, and that was crushing, honestly. But then it was the second time we scrimmed them, which was earlier this week, we ended up like winning and putting up a good fight on pretty much every single map, which was like a really, really interesting thing to see, like just the sheer amount of improvement that we had. So playing versus stronger teams has been really, really beneficial, honestly. Last night, for instance, we were going to play against a 3.6 team, but they had 3 Grandmaster subs. So we played against a 3,900 team on Hollywood, and we full held them with the comps that we used today.
You guys looked great, amazing. Like I would have thought if I just looked at your team blind, I would have thought it was probably like a mid to high Masters team. You guys looked really strong. Yeah, we put quite a bit of practice into that.
Now, you mentioned something, and I was kind of curious about this, about playing other games, such as like playing PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds and stuff. Did you guys felt that helped out with communication and just kind of like helped everybody mesh and relax a little bit more to like, step away from Overwatch every once in a while?
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. Because we get to know each other as people rather than just teammates. We become like pretty much family at this point. Just doing miscellaneous stuff. Doing this team thing, it's gone way beyond than just improving each other. We've pretty much like make long-term friendships with just doing this.
So how did you guys fare in that? Was it like, oh my god, we got killed by random people everywhere, or did you guys maintain the same communication across multiple games?
Absolutely not. We would actually mess around with each other, so to get away from Overwatch, because Overwatch could get very emotional at times, and so to wind down, we just go on PUBG. We just goof around. Like I would shoot the tires out of off of someone's car who's on my team. Just like build that relationship with each other. I feel like building this relationship is really important, because then we listen to each other more. We build trust when we dive. There's just a lot going on for us.
Oh yeah, that's really great. I was gonna ask about that, but that's pretty much it. So so you put them intentionally against harder teams. They lose a lot. That obviously it's hard. That hurts, right? Oh no, we're losing. But then the way of bringing the morale up would be to let's have fun with some other stuff. I guess the natural tendency would be, let's play easier teams so we can win and feel good about ourselves. But being able to just play a different game, winning in a different game is fine, and it doesn't compromise your coaching in Overwatch. That's a great plan.
And to some degree, I think like winning all the time, like, so part of why I really enjoy this is like winning all the time kind of gets boring. So playing versus teams that are a lot harder than us actually just makes the game more fun, at least for me. And I think that a lot of my teammates have the same reaction to it because we're playing against better people, and then we can look at what they do and improve ourselves.
It's all about the emotional strain, as long as you can handle it, to push through and go,
Right.
okay, we know that these guys are way better than us, and to constantly have like getting those gut punches, but you learn from every single one of those times you get punched in the gut, and then next thing you know, you're playing against a 3,900 ranked team that's several hundred points ahead of you guys, and you're doing full holds with a strong comp. There's
Right.
a lot to be said for that.
I think our average right now is like 3,150. So yeah, they're like almost 800 points higher than us. That was like one of honestly the best moments of like my entire time in Overwatch. Like that full hold there, I was like incredibly proud of like the team and the synergy that we did. Like it was honestly one of the best moments.
I'm just getting this mental image of everybody sitting there like screaming at the top of their lungs and everything at the full
Basically.
hold, and like everybody throwing off their headsets and doing dances around their computer.
Kinda
Basically.
basically like people winning, giant, $100,000 lands, except that was their version of that. Well, it was great talking to you guys. Congratulations, and we'll certainly see you in the future in this event. And good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for having us here. Oh yeah.
Okay, so we will be pulling for the giveaway, by the way. We'll be rolling that right now. Within the next minute or so, we'll have an admin roll that, and we get to see. So once again, we are giving away 3 great mouse pads in addition to 1 Chibi Soldier toy. And that thing's so cute. I want one of those. I actually want the full set. They have like the set of the Chibi Overwatch characters, just having a full set. That'd be great.
I want the new Lucio one too. Like if you've seen Lucio,
yeah.
It's got like that plastic like glowy effect. I'm not gonna lie, I'm like a 5-year-old, and whenever I see glowy and shiny things, I'm like, I have to have that.
So reminder, we're giving away 1 of these items in between every match. All you have to do is follow the stream, and you have to type in chat every once in a while. I think it's like once every 10 minutes to get the bot to recognize that you're there. And of course, you can also follow on at WaWa's Bootcamp on Twitter. They also have the giveaway over there as well. But Legit RZ versus Moostis is over. Great match, but we're going into the next match, Rocket Esports versus Buffalo. What coaches do we have for this one, Matrym?
Rocket Esports is a potent beast, which I'm gonna say, like, that's a really good name, a potent beast. He has been one of the co-founders of Rocket Esports. And he started off in Overwatch during the closed beta session, formed a team that went by the name of One Shot. A lot of you guys might remember them from the early days whenever we still had the Gosu weeklies. They were competing on a regular basis.
Yes.
And he started off as a player and eventually transferred all of his duties to the management side, where he created a top-tier team in the early months of Overwatch release and got invited to many of the invite-only tournaments. Rocket Esports has been very, very strong and started making very solid comeback. They've been eventually approached by multiple organizations and moved to sign with Method, where he's spending time managing the Overwatch roster under the Method name.
Well, that's a pretty phenomenal history, I have to say. So he says, a potent beast says, kind of what the other. So we're seeing a theme here, right? These are all great coaches, and the fact that they're all doing the same thing probably means that is the right thing to do. His primary focus is going to. Actually, they all have their own little flavor, right? So, for example, a potent beast's focus is that he wants to get a grasp for each of the individual players. That's obviously very important. All of your players need to be individuals. And that's sort of what Dice was talking about. Like, they're playing other games or just hanging out. They have to really get a feel for them. And so he was really kind of focusing on individual improvement, actually, over the other coaches were focusing on mostly team. And a potent beast was saying, hey, for the first week, I want to get everyone's individual abilities up to par so that they're all sort of on a level, even playing field, all speaking the same language in terms of individual skill. And then they'll do the team building. What do you think of that, Matrym?
I think it's completely different strategy than we saw beforehand, and it's not necessarily bad. Instead of trying to build up all the team synergies, start with the sheer base mechanics. Like, start with tracking, start with like understanding your positioning. Don't put yourself in a bad spot, and then maybe you can just outshoot the other team. And then once you get all of those fundamentals in place, start putting those together with and team synergies the further you go on. So you're going to be seeing them lean heavily into trying to make sure they get those kills. They're trying to make sure that they're going to be getting those picks that are so necessary to push and advance, either claiming the payload or pushing the payload, since we're going to be seeing Hollywood this time around again.
And for those of you who are just joining the stream and are wondering what this is, so today is Hollywood Day. All of these teams will be playing a best of one on Hollywood, and these are just average Joes around maybe like high platinum, low diamond-ish level, all being coached by professional or top-tier coaches, very famous coaches in the scene. And it's mostly a competition for the coaches to see who can do the best coaching, and there's a great prize for them. But of course, the teams themselves, they get a prize as well at the end. And this is all this is all because of WaWa's Bootcamp, a great Discord server. One of my favorites. So there's lots of coaching Discord servers, and they're all great. But let me tell you, WaWa's Bootcamp, this community is just so organized, so professional, so coordinated. It's so easy to be able to get what you want, get what you need, get the type of coach you need, and it's all free. This is not a product that we're selling here. This is not an advertisement. This is just a community that's free. You come to the Discord server. It's linked down below in the Twitch description, and you get a coach. And there you go. It's just to promote coaching in the scene, and it's pretty great. But hey, guys, we're going to have our next match starting in just a little bit, maybe about 10 minutes. And, well, we'll see you in a bit.
I think of the future, I think of the men and machines and friends and ideas and philosophy and spirits. Men and machines.
As you play by one of our coaches. Are you trying your hardest to climb SR, but keep losing games? Do you waste your ults every time you try to use them? Maybe you have a few heroes you want to learn, but have no idea where to start? Then you should join WaWa's Bootcamp. WaWa's Bootcamp is a Discord server with tons of pros and coaches standing by to help you become better at Overwatch. Our coaches are all volunteers with tons of great advice for people who want to get better. You'll be spectated live as you play by one of our coaches and given advice on the fly about what you're doing right and wrong.
When you get close range like that and you can't track them very well, do right-click melee combos. I cannot stress it enough.
Or you might go through a video of your performance and be given a detailed analysis of what you could do to improve.
You almost have graph soon. And this should be a big graph. This should be a huge graph here. Without a Rhine shield, you could just throw it anyway. Not exactly. Yeah, you should have used it. This is not a fight you could win. You need to engage with the Graviton when you can.
I can guarantee that you will come away feeling like you have the tools to get better at this game. But don't take my word for it. Here's some testimonials from others who have joined us. Best of all, you can get all this personalized advice for free. We do this out of our love for this game and a desire to see the community grow. So what are you waiting for? Join WaWa's Bootcamp today. Standing by to help you become better.
All right, guys, we're back, and so we're gonna get into this match in just a bit. I think it's gonna start in about 10 minutes. So once again, just a reminder for the giveaways. We already did our giveaway. Or we're gonna roll in a little bit. I'll tell you who the winner is when we roll it. But these are in between every match. All you have to do is just be active. Follow us, follow WaWa's Bootcamp rather on Twitch, and you can also follow as well on Twitter at wawasbootcamp.com. But you just need to follow on Twitch, and then you enter for your chance to win one of 3 HyperX Gaming mouse pads. These are giant mouse pads, man. You don't need any more mouse pads for the rest of your life. You win one of these. And then, of course, the super, super cute chibi soldier toy. And as a reminder, if I bring the schedule up real quick, as a reminder, right now is going to be Rocket Esports versus Team Buffalo. So we just saw in the last game, and we had Dice come in for an interview, and we're going to do that as well. Again, at the end of this game, we'll have one of the coaches and one of the players probably come in for an interview as well. Those are so great. But I thought it was so exciting, so interesting how a lot of these teams, this is to them more than just an event. Hey, let's win some sick Oh, by the way, in case you didn't hear about the prize, so the coach who wins this event gets a pair of these sick, amazing designer shoes from the same a guy who does shoes for professional basketball players. These are like $3,000 custom shoes, any Overwatch character they want. But it's not just for that. We heard from Dice earlier in the interview that they're actually becoming friends. It's a real amazing experience, not just for the players. Obviously, the players getting professional coaching is amazing, but even for the coaches, it's an amazing experience as well.
Exactly. It's a good chance to come in and see up-and-coming players trying to rise through the ranks. It's a good way to like stretch your legs as a coach and learn stuff and maybe try some strategies that you haven't had a chance to try before. There's a lot of depth inside of this event for specifically the players that are coming up and actually meeting a professional coach and getting that experience and learning to play Overwatch at a higher level. And there's a lot for the coach as well, because it's a chance for them to really broaden their coaching strategies and their styles. And I think that's the big storyline inside of this, is seeing these different coaching styles and how each independent coach is approaching the game in a different way.
I like, you can see you can see the similarity, right? You can see how they all are setting up a structure. So this first week is setting up the structure for their team. And then after that, they are going to probably get more detailed as we progress. We saw for the team coached by Selfless's coach, they were focusing more on becoming a real family, really getting to know each other, getting comfortable with each other, learning to not tilt. We see here for Beast, he's more focusing on the individual players at first in order to get them up to one level playing field so they can all start doing teamwork. And then, of course, Moose was focusing primarily on getting his communication up, just building the baseline, figuring out how to build a team. And that's mostly what we're going to be seeing here today, is just the beginning. We still have multiple more weeks after this to go, and these teams, I'm sure, are just going to get amazing as we progress through this event.
We had a chance before break to kind of talk about who exactly was on the side of the Rockets esports side, but Buffalo consists of a coach that has been coaching Doot, which a lot of people might be familiar with. They were a very, very popular team trying to work their way up through brackets. Actually made it to number 54 in the world by March 1st. He's really focused on trying to coach teams to get the most potential out of them. The basic focus of his approach with the teams has been finding a fit for their play style. And I think that's really big, trying to figure out how each team and the individuals all tend to play differently. We heard a second ago from the other teams that, like, every once in a while you have like this one player that likes to flank or do something else like that. Trying to figure out how to incorporate all that together into a team play style, or team color, as you often hear it called, is a big part of that. And they said that their biggest struggle in coming in before the day one of the tourney has been coach everybody and pull them together and get some synergy based off of that. And so we have two different approaches that are going to be coming in. Rockets Esports is focusing much more on the individual style and trying to build up mechanics. And now we're going to try to be seeing team synergy coaching going against each other.
Well, we just rolled our giveaway winner, our first one, and it's Matt XY. So congratulations to him, to that viewer, Matt XY. Won a mouse pad. So if he needs a mouse pad, well, you can always use a mouse pad, I think. They're so useful for everything.
Always use mouse pads. Like, I probably have about 6 sitting around my desk, depending on different stuff. And I'm always down for somebody with the name Matt winning. Ha!
Yeah.
Us
Oh,
Matryms,
yeah.
Matts got to stick together.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I used to play a lot of card games, and so you have your playing mat for your playing cards, and so I have like 10 of these playing mats, and I can't stop finding uses for them. Like they're just so useful for everything. Whether they're basically the same as mouse pads, just for doing something. Whether you're doing some project on a table or something, mouse pads are just great. I don't know why we're talking about mouse pads so much. Like, oh yeah, mouse pads are the best.
Well, they're actually extremely important. They're one of those things a lot of people don't pay attention to. It doesn't matter how good of a mouse you have if you don't have a quality mouse pad to go with it. Because
Don't play without a mouse pad either.
Yeah, you can get some really bad reactions based off of the way the lasers work with inside of a mouse. If they you don't want to do it.
I've seen people with $100 mice who play on bare table. It's rough. It's rough for me to watch. I'm like, man, why are you doing that?
Oh, it tilts me. Like every once in a while, I'll walk by and see go to a friend's house or something like that, and it's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this to you? Like, especially when they have like $100 mouse and they're just like, oh, my mouse is so good, and you'll see them playing like on a glass table. You're like, what are you doing?
Oh my gosh, a glass table, stop. So we're gonna have another giveaway. We're doing one each match. So we have a couple more mouse pads, and then of course that soldier chibi. All you have to do is follow the stream, and then just be active in chat, and there you go. And in addition, you can also follow at WaWa's Bootcamp on Twitter, and you can also follow the giveaway and all the other events. I've heard a lot of people in the chat saying, hey, how can I join this event? How can I be coached by a professional coach in one of these cool, awesome WaWa's Bootcamps events? Well, go on Twitter, join the Discord channel, and you'll be up to date. We're going to get into this match very soon, guys. Just as a reminder, this is Rocket Esports versus Team Buffalo. And, we're on Hollywood again as well. So I'm excited to see what sort of strats I don't think we're going to see much dive, for sure.
Dive is it requires a lot of synergy. So these teams that are specifically focusing on synergy might start trying to pull it at a certain point, but it is very, very dangerous. You have to have that coordination to effectively run dive. Specifically, if you look in the fact that the first match, we were seeing very stalwart defense comps come in with a builder comp, i.e. Symmetra and Torbjorn, and then we saw the Arista Torbjorn come through. It's very let's claim this location, this is ours, and force the teams to walk into us. So dive is kind of like the paper, rock, scissors of that. It can be effective against these style of comps, but you have to have high levels of target prioritization and the team communicating the targets to go down. And again, these are players that are just now starting the first week of this event. I kind of agree. It could be dangerous, but it could also be an X factor for winning.
It could be if you have the right players, for sure. That definitely comes down to knowing your players, because if you have a lot of these all-star Rambo-ish type of players, if you have a bunch of Genji mains on your team, that type of player, then going for a dive strat might not be too bad. You can just say, okay, guys, just do what you normally do, except go on the same target. That's the hard part, right? Go on the same target. Say, go kill the Ana, something like that. It sounds simple, right? Just have one guy say, go kill Ana. It's not a problem, but it's much more difficult in practice.
Well, we saw that earlier, specifically whenever we saw the builder comp that come into play, so there was just a single Ana that was healing. The attackers were trying to go and get that Ana, but if you position well as an Ana, then it makes it very, very difficult. We saw one hook hit onto her and was very, very dangerous, but then caught across the car that was sitting on top of point and managed to save her. So I think a big part of this is going to come down to how well the defenders' supports can position themselves to stay alive. Specifically, if we do see a dive comp come in or a pharmacy come in. We did see pharmacy in the previous round.
Pharmacy is strong because it's
couldn't quite find the target.
Yeah, pharmacy is very. It's just very easy synergy. Right, you just have the Mercy and the Pharah. That's why it's so popular in solo queue too. There isn't too much actual difficulty in it. It's one of the easier to execute combos in the game. It's not like you're dealing with a Winston, Genji, Tracer, Wombo combo on one target. That's really hard, right? The Pharah Mercy, quite simple.
As long as your Mercy knows how to float, that becomes the big factor. Right? Depends on if your Mercy knows how to float, because there's nothing worse than seeing a pharmacy trying to constantly stay in the air and the Pharah's just floating around. The Mercy keeps touching the ground. It's that's not how that's supposed to go.
Hold space.
I do just I just want to remind everybody, please stay active inside of chat. That is how you get selected for the chance to win any of these drawings that we're doing. You don't have to type in anything specifically. You just have to be talking. So if it comes down to just saying anything, throw out some emoticons, throw out whatever, just be active inside of the chat as we're going through this. And then you have your chance to win either one of those mouse pads that we were previously talking about or that really sexy soldier action figure.
Hey, so we're gonna have a little bit of delay. It's already 1 o'clock, and we have a couple players still who need to get into the lounge. You know what we can do in the meantime? We can give people stuff. We can just give people stuff.
Oh,
yeah. Let's give away a mouse pad. So we'll have our admin roll it right now. So, I've never actually won a giveaway before, Matrym. Never. But you know what has happened? A lot of times, my friends who are with me at places, or my friends either online, they always win giveaways. It's never me. I mean, I'm just like luck aura. It doesn't affect me. It affects everyone around me.
So you're saying that I need to take you to Vegas. The next time that there's an Overwatch event in Vegas, I'm coming with you, and we're just going to go wander around places. You can be like my lucky rabbit's foot. I'll just sit there and sit right next to you.
You really can. It works on my opponents too. It works on everyone. That's why I said I used to play card games all the time. Terrible experience. I had to my opponents always get so lucky. I think everyone says that though.
Well, wait. If you give it to your opponents, I definitely don't want to take you to Vegas. That just sounds like that's going to be a horrible experience.
It's just going to balance out in that case.
No, then you're like the worst lucky rabbit's foot ever.
Well, I make everyone lucky.
Room if we go to Vegas now. No, that's not good. That's not how you win at card games if you go to Vegas. I don't want everybody to be lucky. I want to be lucky.
Well, then go play craps or go play blackjack or something. Then it's you're not playing against other people.
See, already figuring out how to game the system. I like it. You should be playing you should be a Hearthstone announcer. Get that random RNG in everybody's favor so everything goes crazy.
Dude, Hearthstone games, they get nuts. What another Blizzard game, man. Blizzard games are just nuts in general. Overwatch is probably one of the tamer ones, along with StarCraft, as far as RNG goes. But congratulations, AG Furious. You get a mouse pad, man. Congratulations. Hope you enjoy it. We have another mouse pad. Use it well. He has like a $1. He has like the default Microsoft mouse you get with your computer. When it comes in, he's like, "Man, I'm ready for this mouse pad. I'm gonna do 6 stuff."
I specifically like in chat. He just said that I Windex won. Yeah, no, AG Furious, you Windex. You got it, bro. I'm gonna start using that anytime I win something. I Windex.
I Windexed it. Yeah.
And we are getting close to having everybody together to see who Windexed the next round. So we're just waiting on these last 2 people to come in.
Dude, I can't wait to see who Windexes next round. That's what I'm waiting for. 2 more people need to get in. Players a little bit late. Yeah, it's okay. These are not pro teams.
If you guys are in chat and on Struck and Buffalo's team, please know that we are trying to get a hold of you. So please, please, please join.
Send out. As far as... So, once again, congratulations to AG Furious. We will be doing another giveaway before the next match, before the next game starts. And then we have another game after that. We have the schedule up right now for you. So, next up is Baby Babe versus IO Stux. So, Baby Babe, pretty famous player. I think most people know who Baby Babe is. He's a pretty popular professional player / professional coach at some point. And then IO Stux. So we have a couple of coaches here who are not like professional coaches on professional teams. And IO Stux is one of them. IO Stux is a very, very popular, very, very famous individual coach. If you just want individual coaching, he has a YouTube channel with, I think, like 10,000 subscribers, something pretty big. And so he's on here as well, Baby Babe versus IO Stux. And then we also have another coach who we'll introduce a little bit later on once we get to him, who's a very, very popular coach from WaWa's Discord, just like a part of the community. And so very, great giving him a shot at this event as well. So all these coaches are awesome. We have tons of star power here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's everybody's in some form or fashion a name that you recognize. And if you don't recognize them, you'll at least recognize the teams that they've worked with. And it's really I really just love the whole concept behind this event and seeing who all is coaching strategies are going to come out and how strong coaching strategies can come in. As we've been talking about regularly, different approaches in coaching strategy. This next round makes me really, really excited because we are going to see 2 different approaches, synergy versus mechanical prowess. And I think that that's going to be really cool to see how these are going to match up. Specifically, like, can just trying to band together as a team overcome just trying to go for specific outplay?
That will be interesting. I wonder what strat the Rocket Esports team will be using, because they said that they were focusing on individual play. So I think that if we were to have any sort of divey comp, that would be the one we see today. Although I know, because we have 2 more matches coming after this, I know that IOStux likes to do cute things. He likes to be edgy. I know him. So I'm expecting maybe an interesting strat out of him. And we'll have to see. We'll have to see what else we have throughout the day. We're taking a little while to get into the game. Here we go. We have.
I have some comments that I want to say about whenever we get to IOStux round, but we'll save that for whenever we get there. His is gonna be interesting to say the least. And hey, we have finally found all of the last players.
Oh my gosh.
So we are going to be getting into game here soon. Now, remember that the whole way that all of this works is these are coaches that have gotten 6 players from the Discord of WaWa's community and have been working with them the past few weeks and are going to be playing against each other. And so we're trying. These are players that a lot of times this is the first event that they've ever played in, or they're just trying to move their way into it. So this is a nice way to come inside of the scene. So we're gonna end up with every once in a while might have a little hiccup like this where we're trying to be like, hey guys, get in here. This has got to get going.
Yeah,
so
we do prefer the team
for sitting with us.
Yeah, we do prefer the teams to be on time, but at the same time, they're not professional teams, so we don't necessarily ding them too much for it. It's not like this is Selfless versus Envious, and Envious is late. That'd be a little bit strange. But there we go. Jeff froze in. We have all of our players now, and we have. I don't know. If we look at the lobby. This is maybe a little bit botched icon synergy here. Coach Ben doesn't have the anniversary icon.
Maybe he just hasn't had a chance to get it. So he's going to the default to lean in everything all together. So with this, we're set and ready to go. As you guys can see, Buffalo consists of Logros, Ricky 10 Games, Olwyn, Ahab, Shiza, and Jeffro, and then Struck, which is also Rocket Esports that we were talking about beforehand, is Blade 69, Exalted, Brock in New York, Adomi, Brock in Adomi, I can't even say that one, Sarah, and Wildfire Bat, as well as Coach Ben.
That player's name is Brock in Yadome.
Brock in Yadome. Oh, God, sometimes some of these names are just too witty for me, and I can't see them.
They're just it's all right. I'm here for you, Matrym. Don't worry. I can see through.
I need to lean on you for this. You have to help me. It's my job to try to come up with the wittiness. I can't see the wittiness. I have failed.
Brock in your dome. Playing Reinhardt, of course. Why wouldn't he play Reinhardt, dude? That is the name you pick when you play Reinhardt.
It's either that or you have to play Widowmaker. Those are your only 2 real options.
Oh yeah, Widowmaker would be fine as well. I can see the Widowmaker.
Here we go.
So on
we
defense,
now in Hollywood. Let's get this underway.
Yeah,
Thank you everybody for chat and sticking together. And here we are in the next round of this event. We are going to be seeing Rocket Esports that is going to be going up against Buffalo.
And so we get to see on defense once again. So it's pretty common, I think, that players are maybe not as familiar with Orisa. And Dice made a good point. So not running Orisa, running instead the Symmetra Torbjorn, a little bit more of the old school strat. And so
the build it cost is strong. I mean, it used to be called build a tank because people would lean into a throwing down the shield generator, so everybody essentially becomes a tank, which is kind of nice. But you can see that some teams have been leaning into the teleporter, which isn't a bad call at all. It definitely supplements the fact that this comp usually only runs 1 support. So again, like we were talking about beforehand, Exalted, it's going to come down onto you. You have to stay alive. If they get caught out, that's going to be the immediate moment that if we see Exalted go down, the attackers are going to push with everything that they've got.
So the defenders are Rocket Esports playing against Team Buffalo on the attack. Team Buffalo Playing a Hanzo. Are they? Yeah, so they stick on the Hanzo. It's not just for the Sonic Arrow. Whoa, what happened? How did Lucio die? He must have gotten. Oh, he got sniped by that long range pellet. They hurt, man.
Long range turbo, man. Yeah, if it pops you, it hurts. And you can see that there's nice setup with all of these symmetrics.
Oh, ow, that's hurt so bad. 50%, 55, 60% on Symmetra. That's insane.
That's a big part of playing Symmetra, is getting these tricky turrets down, and specifically in placements that we can build the ultimate really, really fast. We haven't even seen an engagement yet, and we already see Sarah's already sitting at almost 70%.
That is so massive. If he can get that early shield gen or teleporter up, it depends. It depends on what they want to go with. Depends on kind of the scenario. We'll have to see though. The attackers, Team Buffalo, they need to make a move. They need to push. They can't let this Torbjorn get his ultimate. Roadhog from the behind gets a hook. Oh, doesn't quite find anybody.
We do have people that are standing. Look at this. Slowly and steady. Lagos is trying to get some defense on here. Shiz is trying to come out, and already we've got the Twin Dragons flying across. This is going to buy a little bit more space and a little bit more claim potential. First chevron has been achieved.
5 HP on that Roadhog remaining. He finally went down though, but that was so close. Ahab, the hero Hanzo, goes in a little bit deep. He's still alive! No way! He's still alive, getting healed up. Can he find anybody? Doesn't look like it quite, but he stayed alive. That's insane. Nano, whole hog, not getting too much. Gets the soldier, that's okay. Let's see if we can get a hook as well. Double kill maybe? Oh no, doesn't quite finish the kill off. Misses a little bit.
Nanoboost coming onto the Reinhardt, charging directly to the other Reinhardt, just kind of throwing the shoulders at each other. This is going to be a full kill now. We see soldiers trying to get in on the point, instantly just gets annihilated. See the supports showing up inside the kill feed now. Ticks are slowly coming over, and that is going to be claimed now by the team of Buffalo, and we move into the streets phase.
Well, we get to see the second part of Hollywood for the first time today. That's pretty exciting. We'll have to see when. We'll have to see what Team Buffalo decides to do with it. They swamp off to a Winston. That's very important to get this high ground. Ahab still on Hanzo. He might just be a very strong Hanzo player, and that's why they're sticking him on that for now. I'm surprised.
Rocket Esports seems to be sending the Torbjorn back to make a switch off. This is going to be a very late defense that's coming out inside of the streets phase. See, we're already about a third the way through the map, and everybody on the side of Struck's team hasn't quite gotten in position yet. She's just doing a good job of just controlling the high ground.
Shazza up on the high ground, blocking everyone. A jump in though on the Zenyatta. Zenyatta's in big amount of trouble. Gets taken out. Great leap in by the Winston player. Another leap as well. Not going to quite hit anything this time, but the attackers have a lot of momentum. There's no Zenyatta for the defenders right now. Tons of, well, actually just everyone dies on defending team. There you go. That's the strat, it looks like. Well, the Zenyatta being taken out so early on. Very crucial play by Shizza.
We're seeing the fact that the attackers are doing really well throughout the streets phase. This cart has just been trucking all the way through. Attackers are going through, trying to find everybody that's caught in this later spawn. Trying to push out. Reinhardt is trying to find some way to push out inside of this. This is just a fight right next to this backward spawn, and it is just going so much in the favor right now of everybody on Buffalo's team.
Buffalo's team is doing so well at keeping this momentum up. I can't believe the coordination. It's really phenomenal. They aren't missing a beat. They are not missing a beat here. Just every single chance they get. Shazza again pushing up with Ahab, his friendly Genji partner. Both those players doing a phenomenal job of keeping up this pressure. Blade actually switches to a Reaper.
This is the rally defense that we need. We have to see something come out from Struck and everybody from Rocket Esports. They need to come in
Blade.
right now and start holding this up. Blade does come out.
Blade, well, Nano Boost takes the Blade a little bit afterwards, but wow, Purple, Purple Reinhardt, he had the Nano Boost, keeps him alive for a little bit, but that is a team kill. And there we go. That 3 minutes, 38 seconds left on the clock. A blazing offense by Team Buffalo. That was some serious stuff. Whether we get him in today or another day, I wanna hear how Buffalo got his team to be that good at keeping momentum. That's a hard thing to do for high level teams, let alone low level teams. But he certainly was able to bring that out of his team for sure.
And I know that we're seeing a little bit of an issue with the UI, the direct time, everybody. Everybody on Buffalo is on the red team, and everybody from the side of Struck / Rocket Esports is on blue.
Yes.
So as we're going to be going through that, I'm just going to start referring to them by their team colors so that help you guys out. So if you hear us start calling people by red and blue, just remember Buffalo is red and the blue team is going to be Struck/Rocket Esports.
Yes, so once again, Team Buffalo in the red, Rocket Esports in the blue. Rocket Esports has, well, a lot of ground to cover. 3 minutes, 38 seconds staring down at them from the time bank. That's a phenomenal time on Hollywood. Can they can they match it? They're going to need to show a perfect map to match that. Although if they can get into the 1 minute 30-second range, this still becomes something that's doable for them in round 2.
And we're seeing Pharmacy across the board being looked at the direct time. Defenders are going to be running Pharmacy, and attackers are going to be running Pharmacy.
Defending Pharmacy is not regular on Hollywood.
And we are seeing dive. Winston shows that's going to be coming out this gate, and they're going to be looking for specific targets. So Olwen's going to need to try to stay alive, as well as Jeffro. There's going to be 2 major targets for this dive to be looking for, because you want to get those supports down as fast as you can. Also, Ahab is going to be flying around trying to get some damage in. So that being said, really, you can see on the side of the attackers right now, the blue team, they really only have Farah and Tracer to do a lot of damage into Ahab's Farah at the direct time. So going to have a little bit of control inside the air, whereas Ricky is going to be on Soldier, so be able to harass this Pharmacy to some degree.
This is certainly a bit of an irregular dive composition. I would actually just call this more of a mobile/aggressive composition because, actually Shazad gets booped off. That might be a little bit relevant. Hook comes out, misses on the Tracer. There is no hook right now for this Roadhog player, but oh no. Farah goes down so early on. The Mercy goes down rather so early on this attacking side. Without a Mercy, I don't know. Winston trades out the Zenyatta, but defenders, yeah, with no Mercy, it's so difficult. You don't quite have enough healing. But like I said, this is a bit of an irregular dive composition. Normally you'd see the Zenyatta over the Mercy. Normally you would see, well, maybe instead of a Zarya, you would see maybe a Diva. But again, we're building around the strengths of these players. That's what the coaches have to do right now.
Exactly, and I want to say that Ricky is a big part of this. He hasn't been getting necessarily showing up in the kill feed, but just having that Soldier sustained hit scan that's going to be flying into this Pharmacy allows Ahab to have a little bit more control and allow to kind of unlock his potential fly-in. We've been seeing Ahab playing very, very aggressive right now, specifically if there's a front line of this defense, flying right up in everybody's faces.
There's no one to kill him. Rocket Barrage. Oh, Sleep comes out. He's in big trouble. Let's see if he dies. No, not quite enough coordination on the Sleep there to take Ahab out. Blade goes down as well. No Tracer anymore on the attacking side. I think they're going to have to retreat. Wild Heat. In the front is Zarya. They wind up shielding Coach and Farah, but I think this is about it. They're retreating now. Oh no, this Zarya has to get back. A very aggressive whole hog from Shazad just to clean everyone up.
Right now, everybody on Buffalo is just really, really synergized, trying to work together, specifically to unlock Ahab. Ahab has been the story of this defense right now. Shazad's been doing a great job of just coming in and supporting, doing some side damage in here. Same thing with Ricky. You can see the whole comp is just built about making sure that Ahab has air superiority, allow him to unlock. I think that we need to see some type of hit scan as we've now seen Blade has made the switch over. So this is going to see, we're going to see a little bit different of an attack now coming out from everybody on Struck's side. Minute and 45 seconds to work with, though. A lot of time has been eaten off this clock.
A lot of time, especially with the the amount of time that they need to beat right now. Like I said before, 3 minutes, 38 seconds, phenomenal time on Hollywood. A couple direct rockets saved by the shield. Very nicely timed by Wild. Here we go, attackers. This might be the push they need. Oh no, no Soldier anymore. Means that this Farah Ahab can go absolutely bonkers, do whatever he wants. Rocket Barrage comes out. I think the Resurrect came out on the Soldier. Yes, it did. Let's see, just a couple more shots onto this Farah. No! Denied.
Jeffro blows the Transcendence, making sure everybody is absolutely topped off. Brock is trying to get a kill onto Ricky, but just can't quite pull it off, and that's going to be a full-on wipe now for the attackers, so they're going to retreat back into spawn. See, Coach Ben is running this Reaper right now, starting to build up ultimate. It's going to come down to the fact that can he get ultimate in the remaining 50 seconds? Because I think that's the tool that they feel that they need. Come in, just throw down the Death Blossom, try to take down as many people as they can. But that being said, Ahab has the ability to reposition. We have Roadhog that's going to have the ability to just hook him directly out. This is going to be really rough for this Reaper to have effective use, specifically to build that last 30%.
I'm going to be very interested in seeing what they do with this Reaper and focus on him. Oh no, a hook onto the Soldier. That's all but denying this entire push. But his Zarya ultimate is actually going to be used despite losing the Soldier so early on. It's not going to pay off for them as Coach Ben pushes forward all by himself. Actually winds up taking out the Reinhardt. Goes down as well as the Mercy is going to resurrect a couple people, but it's not going to be enough. 11 seconds, 10 seconds. That's not enough for another push. That's not enough, Matrym. 5.
A extremely stalwart defense comes out, and Buffalo looks like they are going to take this game, and they're going to take Hollywood round. That was extremely decisive.
Yes.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. That was just a great amount of synergy coming out on the side of Team Buffalo. They were always pushing the cart. They were making sure that they had great target prioritization. Just all in all, a very, very good showing coming out from their side.
That was phenomenal. Like I said, that offense was one of the more impressive offenses I've seen in a long time. Just so crisp every single time. Now, perhaps, and we were seeing a little bit that perhaps Rocket Esports, the blue team, wasn't quite prepared for that level of aggression. And maybe that's why we saw them fold a little bit under that pressure on the attack. But still,
well, it's also... It also seemed like they were having a little bit of comp synergies that were going on. They were leaning way into they were pushing in with the Pharah and the pharmacy specifically, but they didn't have a way to deal with the other team's pharmacy except for just a Pharah off, for lack of a better term. They did make the switch in, and they finally started to get that positioning in, but it was so much time that was eating off the clock at that point. They were having to play off the back foot and with ults in disadvantage. So it made it really, really hard for them to get their feet back under them inside of those pushes.
We're going to get Buffalo in here in just a second to tell us how he worked that magic on that team. But phenomenal job to both teams. Certainly a strong showing. I think next time, if we wind up getting struck in, I would like to ask him what that Reaper's about. Because we didn't see the Reaper do anything. I can understand, I'm not saying it's the worst. I'm not saying it's terrible. I can see ways to rationalize a Reaper being good in some of those situations, but maybe it's just it's that player's wildcard. Maybe Coach Ben is just like a sick solo queue Reaper player. Maybe that's just it.
It could be. We did see the fact that he did manage to build quite a bit of ultimate. I think that he was probably going to be looking for some specific targets, but playing into pharmacy, Reaper isn't necessarily the best tool, and I think that what we're going to have to be seeing on the side of Struck, he focused on mechanics first. We talked about that earlier. So it seems like you're going to start with mechanics and then build into synergies. Remember, this is a multi-week event. So some coaches are looking for a longer term of growth. And that might be what Struck is going for here, is going, okay, work on positioning, work on individual mechanics, then start building in the synergies as we progress through here. So just because we're seeing how a team plays the first week definitely doesn't have any bearing on what we're going to be seeing in the later weeks. I'm really excited to see how we're going to see growth come out of that. But I would be specifically expecting to see Struck spend a lot of time talking about compositions more than anything else, because that seems like it wasn't necessarily that they got outplayed or they were specifically at a weaker disadvantage. It's just their comp was pushing into a comp that just wasn't going to work in their favor. I think that certainly this first week is not necessarily super demonstrative of who we will see succeed in later weeks. It certainly, it awards them points. It goes towards their standings, of course, but it is very viable that some coaches, like we said before, have longer-term strategies for their team. Some coaches have shorter-term strats. It's totally viable. And focusing on that individual improvement first and slowly building up is definitely a more long-term solution. And that does become a factor inside of it. Specifically, a coach has to make sure that he's working with the individual talents that he has inside of his team. So what we might be seeing is specifically one team just had a great synergy off the get-go and the other one didn't. So having to work around those independent factors inside of each team, because naturally each team is going to have its own individual variables that have to be worked around. I don't think that in first week showing necessarily states anything for what we're going to see in week 2 or week 3.
Oh yeah. And these teams have been balanced, by the way. So all these teams do have an equally skilled players. The MMR is all very, very close between them, and there are no Smurfs or anything like that. So these coaches, they do have kind of the same total skill to work with, but they definitely have different skill sets to work with. And sometimes there is an issue of, you don't get players that mix, but the coaches will have to find a solution to that. Let's bring in let's bring in Buffalo and the Ricky, a player on his team. How's it going?
Hey, how are you?
So I've got to say, Buffalo, I was super insanely, ridiculously impressed by your team's offense there on Hollywood. They just they took every opportunity. They kept the momentum up so well. They didn't give the other team a break, and especially the Winston and Genji players. They were so on top of always, get the high ground, get the next position, and they were looking like a semi-pro or amateur team that you might see. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference there.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I feel that they did really well was just continuing on, just relaxing through each push. The biggest mistake you can make is worry, and when you worry, you make mistakes. And they didn't do that. It looked like they were really consistent. They were getting in there, and they didn't they didn't give them any extra ground. They didn't let go. So
I was specifically impressed with their map understanding with these players whenever they realized that they were about to catch point 2 in the streets phase, and there was going to be a lot of players that were going to be in the closer spawn for the defenders, and moved in to execute on that and bought themselves a lot of extra space inside of the third stage just because of that as well, because they all came in together and specifically executed down to start taking down targets, and probably bought themselves a third of the streets phase as well.
We were talking before about how it's a bit it's a bit riskier to go with that dive-ish sort of more aggressive strategy on this team that you don't have a lot of time to work with, because that is a strat that takes more coordination. What do you think about that?
Sorry, could you just repeat that one more time?
I was saying before how going for a more aggressive divey type of composition, I thought would be a little bit rarer because these are still relatively new teams. It takes more coordination to go for that type of strategy. So what did you think about picking the dive strat over something safer, like a death ball, just go march up and kill them sort of thing?
Well, I think that they definitely had a combination of a little bit of both, because they were running a really good, consistent, semi-dive with their picks and heroes. It's just when you are able to get kills, that's where you can start winning games. It's not necessarily the comps that will win you games; it's the way your team will react using the comps. So, I think that they did a really good job with that.
And what did you focus on So you took this team, right? A bunch of players, random players. You have to get them in shape for the first week of this event. What was your first order of business? What did you need to set up besides the scheduling and stuff? What was the biggest challenge to start off?
Well, first I'd like to thank Yikes Kidda, very good friend of mine, the players coach for Yikes. Very good. I love her a lot. She's one of the best coaches I've seen. She had to step back along with Coach Packing, but since yesterday, they really set up a good team for me to pick up and move along with, and I really appreciate that they did that for me, because these guys are really a great set of guys that have a really big future ahead of them if they continue to work like this. So the biggest thing that we worked on so far is just sort of getting ready for team comps, getting ready for setups for just teams, and running into the point, setting it up, and running the game. So
I have a question for you, Ricky. How's it been working with these coaches and coming in and getting your first win here at this event?
Well, I personally like Buffalo a lot. Like, he has showed us to calm down and how to react when the comp we're playing. So we just decided to calm down and keep saying nice job to everyone, and just decided to push on and do our best to win the match. So it's really nice having Buffalo as a coach.
Staying calm is super important. Are you guys having any issues? Well, I mean, if you win like that, you probably won't have issues like this. But I know you picked up the team relatively recently, but has there ever been any issues? I guess Ricky's been on for longer. Has there ever been any issues with tilting, or like you said, not staying calm? Once you start to lose, you just kind of freak out and everyone gets crazy. Was that an issue, and how did you guys wind up addressing that?
Well, when we were doing scrims with our past coaches, we were going against like high masters, and it was quite hard to win. So we just decided to after that, we were kind of nervous about how this was gonna go, but we just decided to like keep moving forward and just do our best in the games.
All right, that's great
Like,
to hear. And
yeah, like everybody
Yeah.
plays what he wants, and they can do our best, and that's our strategy to winning games.
So what are you guys going to be focused on for the next week that you
Yes.
guys have seen coming out of this? Like, what's the next stage of the Buffalo team?
So I'd really like to focus on this coming week some team comps that are going to be a little bit unusual, set up for just our team, and hard to sort of counter because it's a team Buffalo strat where everyone's playing a certain comp on certain maps and certain heroes that they feel are best suited for them and the team. And I think that's a lot of work to do because if you're making your own comps, you don't really have anything to go back on. So it'll be fun to see what we come up with, and I hope that you guys are ready for it.
Oh man,
I
tease
always
us
love to
like
see-
that. We're
I love to see new comps and new team strategies. So yes, I'm already excited.
Oh, man.
Yeah. We wanted our best and A have to die, but we were trying to keep the payload going with Ryan, Nana, and me as soldier. Oh, they get the picks. Yeah, that was our plan in that game.
Well,
Lean into the
guys-
picks. That's a solid
Yes,
strategy.
yes. Well, guys, it was great to have you. Congratulations, and man, I wanna see that strat now going into next week. I can't wait for it. Thank you guys, and good luck.
Shout
Really
out to
appreciate
Games
it.
and all.
See you guys next week.
Thank you.
See ya. Thanks.
All right, and next up we actually have an interview with the other team's coach as well, Struck, and one of his players as well. So they were of course the team that lost, but they still put up a pretty strong showing. I'm interested to see. Oh, and he's in here now. Hello, Struck. How are you?
What's up?
So, Struck, I noticed that you guys, your team didn't look weak at all, but the offense, the sheer offense from Team Buffalo was just so immense and had so much momentum. What are your thoughts coming out of that game?
It was kind of unfortunate because our main shot caller, it wasn't able to attend due to the time constraints that he had. So having that and not being able to reconvene and having that structure there kind of put us at a disadvantage on that point.
So I have to ask.
That is absolutely rough to hear. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I know that is really rough. I have to ask. Everyone was wondering. This chat was wondering. I was wondering. Matrym was wondering. Reaper. What was the Reaper pick? Do you know?
Not my call.
So the thought process behind that was
throw anyone under the bus or anything. But yeah, not my
the
call.
thought process behind that was to clear the ground game, and then we could just melt the Pharah.
All right.
But that, however, did not work out the way we wanted it to.
All right, fair thought process. You know, the Reaper did get in there. He took out the Reinhardt at one point. It was looking a little promising, but just didn't quite get through. All right, so that answers the question about the Reaper. Now, so with this team, what was for Struck? What was the main when you picked the team up besides the scheduling and stuff? What was the main thing you started to work on? What was the main challenge initially for the team?
Getting their comms correct and getting their comms working. That's probably one of the most difficult things to do for teams in general, even at the higher level, is getting their comms into a place where it's viable for the team, so everyone knows what information is going out and getting ahead. They needed some help with a little bit of their game sense and tracking enemy ultimates. When I stepped in, there wasn't any of that or anything like that. So getting that started in their minds and what to be expecting for each individual fight and win conditions and stuff like that. So their game sense and mainly their comms communicating with each other.
I have to say, I did like your guys' reaction. You guys realized the fact that the Pharah there towards the end, specifically the last half of your attack push, was one of the things you had to deal with, and you guys did make a switch off of the Tracer into the Soldier. Did you share kind of the same logic that we were having, Struck? Myself and Skyline were discussing the fact that we saw a lot of good plays coming out from the team. It was just seemed to be like the other team's comp just seemed to be working against you. So do you think that are you guys going to be working on some newer comps as you go into this week, or some different strategies in comp selection?
Yeah, that's one of the things that I've always trying to been working on them is just getting something down that they can essentially default into and then work out from there and branch out. Having the non-shot caller and having one ringer doesn't really help as well, which was one of the problems. So they kind of defaulted back into their solo queue picks and stuff like that. So we weren't able to use the original comps that we decided to go with beforehand.
For sure. And just out of curiosity, what was the original comp you wanted to run for Hollywood?
It was along the lines. It was either going to be a dive or a more standard Roadhog, Soldier, Ryan, etc. Going from there instead of the Zarya and the Reaper, and just rolling from that. Essentially 3 tank, 1 soldier, just rolling up and doing what they can for the shield battle.
When all else fails, run triple tank.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Just getting in there. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'll go finish your statement. Yeah.
Just getting them there. Since it's an easier default to fall back to. You know what I mean? It's more of a standard thing that they can branch out from. Getting their basics up from that point makes it a lot easier. A foundation to work from.
I really like that strategy, specifically developing comfort comps and working around that, and then making that comp have reactive styles into it is a very good way to promote growth inside of a team. So I 100% see where you're coming from. I think it's a great strategy moving forward.
For the players, we've asked this to every player so far. So what's your experience been like being put in this team and getting a very, very high level coaching and trying to be competitive in that way? What's your experience been so far in this event?
Do you want to go first, Blade?
You go ahead, Sarah.
Okay, so basically you start learning how to sort of watch your own gameplay, and that's one thing that I think a lot of players don't do is they don't necessarily record what they do in solo queue or in comp or anything like that, and then go back to it and say, okay, like what did I do wrong? And that's one of the biggest things for me. I know personally that I had to get through was thinking like, okay, how can I get better as a player? And then just sort of focusing on things that you don't necessarily look at in the beginning, like, oh, how is my positioning? How is my callouts? You know, should I have used my nano boost there? Like things like that. So I think that's probably the biggest thing that I would say.
All right, what about you, Blade?
I'd say it's definitely been a huge advantage as far as working towards our communication and team synergy. Whenever the team's focusing on callouts like alt tracking, stuff like that we didn't do before having a coach, it brings a lot more to the table, and we've seen a lot of improvement due to it, as well as individual positioning, as well as team positioning. Sticking together, not just going out and dying on your own.
How does this affect your outlook on solo queue now? Has this changed your, when you just go into a game, you're trying to grind your skill rating or whatever? How has this changed that aspect of your gameplay?
I hate solo queue now.
You've seen the light, and it's hard to go back.
It's hard to play with a team of 6 people who you can actually rely on and you trust, and know their role, and will listen to you if you say something. And like as a support main going into solo queue, you're sort of at the mercy of what your team does. I can't go in there and get a triple kill on my own. I mean, I've done it before, but it's not something that I go for, because that's not my role. So trying to stay back and, in solo queue and let them sort of do what they need to do and then support them doing that. It's hard to support them when they suck. So basically, I would say that being on a team and things like that, it's changed how I solo queue, because now I sort of try my hardest to adapt to whatever solo team I get put into, and it makes me miss being in a team environment when I know I can trust my teammates.
And Blade?
Solo queue just kills me on the inside, bit by bit. So it's.
So you guys are having a lot
definitely
more fun.
A big advantage.
So you guys
playing
are having
with
a lot
team.
more fun, right?
Yeah.
Well, if anything, at least now you're meeting people that that you can play ranked with. So whenever you go and you're playing competitive, it's not just you by yourself. You can bring in a couple of your new teammates with you.
Oh
Yeah, for sure. Like I love playing with these guys, and even when we're not doing like scrims or doing anything like for tournaments and stuff like that, it's always fun to just practice with them and work on things that we may not necessarily be able to do in like a comp game or a tournament match.
All right, Struck. So what's the plan for next week? What are some things you're going to fix from this match? I know you had the ringer, so that was pretty rough. But what's the focus for this next week?
Honestly, it's just the team comps and the positioning, not the positioning, the team communication, relying on that network to get that going forward. To work with the backup and the current shot caller and see what we can do for there is what we're going to work on going forward.
All right, sounds great. Thank you guys for joining us, and good luck next week.
Can't wait to see what you guys bring.
Oh, for sure.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, so next up, you can see on the schedule is Baby Bay's team versus IOStucks. And so, like we said before, we'll just introduce these coaches once again. IOStucks is a pretty popular individual coach. He also coaches some Tier 2 teams. He has a YouTube channel, 10,000 subscribers or so. So he's relatively popular himself. Baby Bay. Introduce Baby Bay to us, Matrym.
Baby Bay is a professional player that's been around for quite a while. You guys might know him from the fact that he was on Congarna, Ghost, Splice, and now is back on the new Congarna team that has been pulled back together for the Overwatch Contenders event. So he's been around for quite a while. He's a name that a lot of people are very familiar with. I'm really excited to see what he's going to be able to pull through inside of this and like his specific coaching styles, because this is going to be more of a pro player's style rather than a directed pro coach's style. Now, my question and my worry is IOStucks has that like coaching the coaches thing that he does on his YouTube channel. This is a lot of pride for IOStucks here. He's got to make sure that he shows up and comes up big on this one, because I was thinking one is like a little bit of like, I don't know, jabs coming in from the other team being like, should we make a video on coaching your coaching?
Oh man, I wonder. But anyway, guys, so we have another giveaway, and we have 3 mouse pads to give away. Well, only 1 more mouse pad now. We already gave away 2, right? And 1 chibi soldier that we'll be giving away on the 4th match. So let's go ahead. Hey, let's roll another one. Why not? Let's have, all you have to do is be following WaWa's Bootcamp, be active in chat, say something, say, hey guys, whatever. Active, I think, once every 10 minutes for the bot to register that you're there. And so, let's see.
It's not that hard to be active in chat. There's tons of conversation that's happening. I just want to give a shout out to everybody in Twitch chat that has been talking so much. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, it's a blast. It really is. Baha Thoro. Congratulations on winning the mouse pad. I hope you enjoy it. It's a big mouse pad, guys. HyperX gaming mouse pad. Big mouse pad. Thick as well. And hey, even if you already have a mouse pad, honestly, mouse pads are so useful for everything. But just as a reminder, though, so for those of you just joining, this event is pro coaches coaching average players to become competitive in Overwatch, to make competitive 6v6 teams. And so it's a competition mostly between the coaches, although the players get prizes as well at the end. But the coaches are competing to coach the best team they can possibly raise, all for these amazing shoes. And these aren't just any shoes, Matrym. What are they?
They are artisanal, handcrafted, beautiful shoes that cost more than probably cost more than my rent in 6 months. Yeah, they actually do. Good Lord, these shoes are nice. And they're specifically, like, the artist that's working on this has made shoes for professional athletes, whole bunch of like celebrities. These are top-notch, high-quality kicks, for lack of a better term.
Oh yeah, they're in the thousands. Let's say that much. You get a custom Overwatch hero, any hero of your choice. But anyway, guys, we're gonna have the next match coming up in just about 15 minutes. We will be right back.
When I think of the future,
Are you trying your hardest to climb SR, but keep losing games? Do you waste your ults every time you try to use them? Maybe you have a few heroes you want to learn, but have no idea where to start? Then you should join WaWa's Boot Camp. WaWa's Boot Camp is a Discord server with tons of pros and coaches standing by to help you become better at Overwatch. Our coaches are all volunteers with tons of great advice for people who want to get better. You'll be spectated live as you play by one of our coaches and given advice on the fly about what you're doing right and wrong.
When you get close range like that and you can't track them very well, do right-click melee combos. I cannot stress it enough.
Or you might go through a video of your performance and be given a detailed analysis of what you could do to improve.
You almost have graph soon. And this should be a big graph. This should be a huge graph here. Without a Rhine shield, you could just throw it anyway. Not exactly. Yeah, you should have used it. This is not a fight you could win. You need to engage with the Graviton when you can.
I can guarantee that you will come away feeling like you have the tools to get better at this game. But don't take my word for it. Here's some testimonials from others who have joined us. Best of all, you can get all this personalized advice for free. We do this out of our love for this game and a desire to see the community grow. So what are you waiting for? Join WaWa's Boot Camp today.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. So we're going to get into the match in just a little bit. It's going to be about probably...
Hello, everybody from the WaWa's Boot Camp YouTube channel. Whoa. My name is Boltsy, and I'll be going over the basics.
Shh. It's all right, Boltsy. Calm down. Calm down. All right. So we actually have everyone in the lobby, which is a bit. This is the first time today we've had everyone in the lobby already. Actually, also look at that. We have people. This icon synergy is really on point. Really, really on point. All anniversary over here. All Pachimari's over there. Really phenomenal. But we'll be getting to the game in just a second. This is IOStux' team versus Baby Bay's team. Once again, IOStux, popular YouTuber. Lots of people like him. Baby Bay, professional player, professional coach. And should be pretty exciting.
It's a battle of YouTube versus player as far as coaches go. We've been seeing a lot of professional coaches up to this point. So this is going to be kind of a different breed coaching that comes through, specifically coaches that have worked inside the scene as a player and specifically works with players much more one-on-one in IOStux's case. So this will be very interesting to see how these two end up coming along. As far as team consistency, Baby Bay has Kurjan, Lucid, I guess it's supposed to be a joke on Lucio, Amazements, Void, Exturum, and Toro. And then on ISOStux team, we have I Shot Wabbit, I guess I'm going Wabbit hunting, Wibe, Beatdown Boulevard, Game Jammin', Luminario, and Steak Bomb.
Wabbit season. Yeah, that was my favorite bit as a kid. It got me every time, man. Got me every
I was all about the opera episode, you know, what is it, the Barber of DeVille, was that the one where it had the cross-dressing Bugs Bunny going around with the Viking helmet on?
Yeah, yes. That was my first introduction to opera in general.
I think that's just about everybody's first and very few bits of introduction into opera.
Oh man, well we're gonna be getting into the game in just a bit. They have to play around with the lobby a tad, and well, IOStux versus Baby Bay. We've been saying that IOStux is a bit more of an edgy character. He might have a cool strat to work with, and I think that Baby Bay is probably gonna have more of a traditional team. We'll have to see though. Match will start in just a second, guys. We need to fix the lobby a little bit, but I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to this for sure.
This is one of them that I've been very interested in as we're going through, specifically as we progress inside of this event. I like the fact that we're getting different styles of coaching and different approaches from different genres specifically. Like, how much different is a player's viewpoint on coaching and what a coach should be in comparison to a professional coach for a team, compared to somebody that spends a lot more time in one-on-one offs going and teaching players in the YouTube style sessions. Yes. Seeing this variance in this spread is, I think, a big part of what makes WaWa's community really cool, is because you don't get just specifically one perspective on how to play and one style of coaching. You get a variable like buffet of styles that can come. So if like one coaching style doesn't work for you, then you can find another one that comes in. So I wholeheartedly, everybody, if you are not already part of this community, please make sure you join the WaWa's Bootcamp community. It's really great. It's free. There's no reason to not join inside of it. And you might be able to come and compete in events like this. It's a good way to improve. And just overall, with all of the knowledge and experience that's in there, everybody is just so absolutely nice. And it's just a pleasure to be a part of.
It's a really phenomenal community. Absolutely. And this is not like a paid product that we're trying to sell you guys. This is completely free. It's just a regular old community. And you just go there. There's lots of coaching discords and they're all great. But like WaWa's Bootcamp is just so professional and organized and coordinated. You can just go in, find a coach, you get it right there. So many, lots of volunteers, all GM level, all great coaches. And, well, we've seen the absolute phenomenal improvement that coaching makes on a team. But we're going to get into the game right now. IOStucks, the individual coachy, kind of like the YouTube star coach, Bebe, more experience with coordinated professional 6v6 Overwatch. IOStucks does still coach tier 2 teams as well, though, so he has experience with that. I am interested to see the different styles, but of course the players on the individual teams really affect that a lot as well.
Player personalities are a big part of what I think modern day coaching has to entail. You have to kind of curb back the way some people can be, I don't know, aggressive or passive. You have to figure out how to make sure that communication functions inside of it. It's not just like, hey, play this comp, win, I'll shoot the other team. It's a lot more of making sure that everybody can build some synergies together, that the people like each other. And we've been seeing a lot of approaches that have been specifically focused on that at the start have been some of the more successful sides to it. And so I think that that's a big part of coaching in modern day esports in general, is just making sure that you can get the players to relate to each other and communicate well and actually like each other.
Here we are. We're going to the game right now. We'll see. We'll see. IOStucks' team is on the left. We have it for you on the overlay there. Babyface team on the right. Let's see what these two coaches have in store for us for these opening team compositions.
I'm going to say it, Skyline.
All right.
It hurts my soul that I Shot Wabbit is playing support. If you're I Shot Wabbit, shouldn't you be like one of the DPS heroes? Like it goes against it. Like
he's a Mercy. You never know. A Mercy would never shoot a rabbit.
It might be a battle Mercy. You never know.
That must be the solution. Must be a battle Mercy. Torbjorn.
And with no surprise, we're seeing a Torbjorn coming out on defense. But look at this. Instead of running the Reinhardt, we're seeing a much more mobile choice in Winston coming in to couple in potentially with this Pharah, Genji, Soldier, who are all fairly maneuverable in some form and fashion, as well as a Mercy. Now, on the attacker side of it, leaning into what looks to be a dive comp of sorts as well, where we've got double tanks running the Winston and the Diva, as well as two flankers, which are going to be Genji and Tracer, Lucio and Ana, just to polish off and make sure you've got that healing coming in.
And the attackers, well, they're just flip-flopping. We'll have to see what they decide on. But this is a pretty standard composition for sure on defense. Well, the Pharah is actually quite irregular, really, on defense here on Hollywood. But we saw it to a very immense amount of success earlier on in the last match. The Pharah player was just... He was untouchable. He was untouchable. There was no answer for him on attack. Let's see what the attackers swap to. They're on complete troll heroes now, but they need to swap. All right, there we go. Let's see. Full dive. Oh, look at that.
Coming out the gate swinging. That's the way to go. If you're going to come in, at least see what you can get off of this. We're going to be going into essentially a dive defense comp as well. So this is going to be a very explosive first couple of fights. It's all going to be seeing how well that the attacking flankers can find positioning. With that, Winston jumps straight into it.
Trades off already. No Pharah anymore for the defending team. Look at that in the back. Ana is in so much trouble, getting double teamed so close. Dead. But that was a lot of resources wasted. The Winston and Genji gone for so long. And as a result of that, the rest of the attackers able to go for pretty much no contest, take out the back line of the defenders here. But still, this team fight is going strong. Stake Bomb is on Lucio. That's the only support available here. Game jamming on Pharah is back. One more rocket, I think, takes out Void. No! Gonna be shut down by Tracer. 3 on the point. I don't think that there's anyone to stall this out.
50% contest. You can see that the defenders are looking to come in, and they just lean into, no, we're just going to take control of the top of this. We're going to get early control point inside of Street's face, which is a very solid call. If they came in, they would have been trickling in one at a time. Much better just to rally your defense in stage 2 and figure out how you're going to come in. With this, we've got Genji's coming up. Toro's trying to get a little bit of harass and push him off the top, but there are too many people up there.
Direct rocket. No, yeah. Toro trying to get high ground control, as I'm sure that, I mean, that's probably his set role for this, but ran into a lot of players, went down early. No Genji here is going to, you know, this is a 5v6. Also, Tracer went down to another direct rocket. This is going to be a huge stagger, actually. I think that if the defenders choose to push this, they don't. All right, they don't choose to push it, but they could have done a ton of damage there.
Just retreating back. You can see leaning into basics right now. Just control this upper ground. Make sure you drop in. You get to dictate the point of the fight. And we see both Winstons jumping in both sides.
Winston up on top. Toro as well. Control, trying to go for the Mercy. Can't quite find him. Winston Primal Rage popped as well. Not doing too much. Defenders holding strong right now. Wibe on top with the Soldier. Tremendous amount of damage. No one here to contest him.
Steakbomb is just doing a great job of instantaneously, every time one of these fights breaks out, jumping in, staying alive, trying to get on point. I say that right as soon as a Tracer Bomb just eats him up. But bodies have been staying right on top of this cart to try to eliminate its forward movement. It's good to focus on objective control. You can see the fact that everybody on the side of Iostech's team is playing off of sheer basics. They're leaning into the base mechanics of the game. Get high ground control, dictate whenever you choose to fight, jump in, be a distraction, make sure you do not allow the cart to move.
Tremendous pulse bomb. Wound up getting not too much value as the Genji went down in exchange for the attackers. Oh, Blade. Let's see what this gets. Nano Blade even. Up top. Doesn't find anything so far. I think it's going to whiff completely. No kills at all. That's huge. Missing the Nano Blade like that is so big. Oh, great reflect. Takes out Wibe. Counters the visor perfectly. Well done by Toro there. Even though his blade did whiff earlier on, Farah and Winston will be resurrected. Let's see if this Viva ultimate gets anything. No. Good job by Lumi. Shielding it, but still the attackers have a very strong push.
Attackers coming in, just starting to kill off all of this trickle that's coming in. Pharmacy's trying to get something done. Game Jam is just in a full-on retreat right now, not going to make it away. Cart's now coming around about 2/3 of the way through the map. We're seeing a very rallied attack coming out on the side of Baby Bay's team now, specifically choosing targets, starting to dictate the control of whenever fights are happening. Once you get that pacing in your favor, it's really easy to try to hold on to that momentum. And look at this, playing really aggressive, coming right in on the defenders.
Great pulse bomb, but pulse bombs himself. It would have been a great pulse bomb, unfortunately trading himself out. Not particularly amazing. Dash through, kills the Farah. Nicely done. Lots of control so far on the attacking point, but I don't know, this Winston ultimate might change that as lots of damage comes out on the back line. No more Lucio anymore for the attackers, no more Ana either, and with that, there won't be any more healing remaining, so the attackers have to get back. 2 minutes, 30 seconds. They still have a couple pushes remaining.
Void Toro were looking to do a little damage and end up getting killed off of the retreat. That's going to be a really delayed stagger by about another 10 or 15 seconds off the clock. There is presently 2 minutes and 20 seconds left right now, so several charges that they can make it in. But in the Streets phase, there can be a lot of attrition that kicks off in time. Every second becomes valuable because you need all of that time to push into what is technically the hardest phase in Stage 3 because it favors the defenders so much.
Pushing up through the high ground, trying to deny this. See what we can get here. Self-destruct on top. Well, it gets Winston barriered out, though. But now the attackers have the high ground. That's going to give them a lot of control. Dive in from Winston. Doesn't get too much out of it. Game Jam and great direct rocket. Takes out Lucy, though. The Lucio player. Good name for that, I guess. Barrier from defense is going to make this a little bit difficult for the attackers to push in. Ooh, attack visor as well for the defenders. Not going to get too much value out of that. It's a good opening now for the attackers' next fight. They have Blade, Barrier. They have everything. Nano going into no defensive ultimates. There is a Mercy ultimate for the res. But if they can take out the Mercy, then, well, there won't be much defense afterwards.
iShot Wabbit has been doing a good job on staying alive, understanding Mercy's role inside of this, constantly trying to keep the damage boost onto Game Jam, and also doing a good job on just trying to stay alive. The rest of the team is doing a really stalwart job of making sure that nothing really happens. Look how far back's playing now. Here we go.
Blade. Oh, whoa! He gets taken. Look at that point blank by the rocket barrage. That was weird. He like reflected the rockets into the barrier and then killed himself with the rockets. That was The first time I think I've ever seen that type of play. But Winston, Primal in the back, not getting too much damage off. Managed to kill Wybe, but that's it. I shot Wabbit down. No mercy anymore for the defenders. That means no resurrect. That is so crucial. Very, very well played by Kurjun here. Oh my gosh, another kill as well as Winston doing tremendous amounts of work on attack. Sleep on Genji as well. So well executed. This attacking team, despite having a little bit of an issue earlier on with the Nano Blade going awry, still pushing through.
There's the res coming out finally. He's going to pick up several people. Fight is still very contained right next to the cart. Lumario finally gets slept as he goes after Exoterm really far in the back. That's going to allow the cart to start moving out. 9 seconds is now remaining inside of this fight.
Diva ultimate, not going to get too much. Look at this Pharah in the back, can potentially do a lot of damage. Not finding too much though. This is overtime, so this is the last chance for the attackers to push this with no Lucio. It's looking a bit slim. Trades out as well. Rocket Barrage does a lot of damage. Reflected right back though. Still though, I think the defense has this. Visor.
Nobody left on the attackers that can push in.
Overtime gone. All right, they get halfway through Hollywood. Not, this is holdable for sure. Not optimal, not par for the course, I would say, but certainly not the worst to hold to that point.
See the fact that the defenders really, really rallied up inside of stage 2, really playing for the objective, repeatedly just trying to get on, try to stall. Luminero specifically and Stake Bomb, that seemed to be their roles. We saw Luminero on a regular basis use the Primal Rage just to delay the cart movement. He would be the last person left, standing on top of the cart, blow up with Primal Rage and just constantly stay right next to it. Stake Bomb was doing the same thing. Although I do have to give a shout out to both of the Winston players from both sides. They were doing a great job of understanding, using bubble control, and every single time we saw a self-destruct come out, instantly got put underneath the bubble, not allowing any kills.
We'll have to see what the defense chooses to do right now. Baby Bay. Baby Bay's team in the red side. They're defending this time. They highlight a Symmetra. No Torbjorn to go with it, which is pretty fair. Anna as their main healer.
Looks like that's what we're going to be seeing leaned into. This is going to be one of the first times we're not seeing Torbjorn on defense for either side. Symmetra does fill in the same role to some degree. I've always found it really interesting and extremely impactful wherever Symmetras put their turrets at, because as we mentioned in the last game, getting that early charge is so important. They have to make sure that they're getting the teleporter or the shield generator up as quick as possible, because much value out of this. And Lucido is playing very far forward, putting them on the first couple of doors, and actually Genji right there is going to see these coming. Now, this kind of happens with Symmetra. You see multiple stages. You're going to put this very first set of turrets out, then kind of lean back, put out 1 or 2 in a secondary stage, and then put up a very rallied third defense turret location.
It's so essential because that's so much of the value of the hero. Still, turrets in the front, completely
Look at this.
Not going to find anything. Look at that.
They understood, they saw it, they were like, oh, Symmetra's right out there, don't give away the free charge. Came around through an entirely different entrance. So well played.
Not going through that main entrance. I mean, it's such a simple thing, but so many teams just go through the middle entrance anyway. 0%, well, 10, she gets the passive charge, but 0% charge gained from those turrets, from the Symmetra. In the back, Winston jumps up, doesn't quite find anything actually. In the back, on the Anna. This is the only healer right now. Oh my gosh, that rocket gets so many people to cleave from the Winston, taking out so many as well. No more Anna. No more healer at all for this defending team, for IOSux's team. In the back, Kurjun trying to get some hammer damage off. He's still alive, but remember, with no healing, he's still at such low health. 126 still. Amazing play by amazing individual play from this Reinhardt, Zarya, and Tracer. Still takes the point. That was phenomenal.
Managed to really rally that defense that looked to be going very much in the favor of Isotech's team, but you saw them really just kind of pull together last second, get the necessary kills that allows everybody from the defense to respawn back up. Everybody's pressuring in, and again, Winston jumps directly on top of Cafe.
Winston jumps in, doesn't quite find the healers they need. This is a big mess the Winston just jumped into. Not enough support that time. Nano Boost actually going to go on the soldier. Does he use the... Well, he doesn't even have the visor. But he doesn't need it as they push that back very well. Winston, such a good leap in earlier. Well, Resurrect tries... Let's see what he gets. He gets the Genji and the Pharah. Still, this is getting a bit messy. No more soldier. So Toro actually went down with the visor. That's massive. This attacking team has another shot.
Trying to find something. Teleporter does get dropped right now, and
I think it's gonna go down.
Vision of Winston and Genji
Oh,
instantly
no.
gets taken down, but I think that one person did manage to get through it. Point is starting to flip over now. I think that that's going to be a full-on capture. Only last couple of seconds.
That's it.
Now can the defenders get into some form of defendable situation? You can see that right now Lumero's already taking control of the top of the street space. Game Jam is coming up. Pharmacy is right on top of this. This is forcing everybody on the side of Babybay's team to take a much more safe, secured route.
Direct rocket takes out the Ana. Really, really well done by Game Jammin'. And without that Ana, that's so crucial. They're still on the Symmetra, on Lucido. Still on the Symmetra on the second point. They have no more healers. This Winston is hunting down the soldier. Well done.
Look at this nice coupling that we see between Winston and Mercy. Winston's playing really far forward, and again, I Shot Rabbit is playing right next to him, making sure to keep him alive, allowing him to kind of be a damage unit, buying a lot of space inside of the street spaces. We're going to see probably making around this next bin, pushing the last 2/3 before the defenders really rally and get all the spawns back together.
So
it's
much
put
territory
them right
taken.
next to the claim point. Look at how close it's ticking up slowly and steadily now.
This is still well done by the defenders, getting back, not letting them get completely wiped. They also swapped off to Lucio now, so this Ana is not alone in healing. You know, the attacker's doing such a good job diving her, and as a result,
Jarn used Earth Shatter to try to focus down I Shot Rabbit's Mercy and doesn't manage to get her. A lot of fighting that's happening, but nobody's really
that's
on
why.
the cart. Yeah.
That's why Kurjun was going to swap off to the D.Va. So now
There we go. We're seeing Game Jammin' having nice amount of control across the top.
Oh, look at that! Okay. Yep, Game Jammin' trying to be sneaky, but they knew he was there. Kurjun swapping off to the D.Va for a little bit more control on this high ground.
And you can see the fact that everybody on Isoduck's team has been playing high ground, trying to control it the best they can, and had some level of dominance. So the switch is just to get some control inside of the street space. 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Isoduck's team only needs to probably push about another 30 meters to get the win on this round. Babybay's team knows this and is playing specifically around the cart, retreating, not really forcing too much control over the top. Just Kernjun is the only person that's really trying to contest and buy more time.
It's very important. If that was a Reinhardt, they would have a little bit lacking on the high ground control. Dive in, breaking it down as well. Rocket Barrage is going to be shut down. Sorry, Ultimate, you know, is going to connect and get a couple with the Resurrect. Here's the reset. Blade in. This Blade needs to get so much value. Right now, just running to the Zarya. Dive in. Can it get the Ana? Yes! No Ana. That's so essential. And there's no Resurrect here for the defending team. Only the attackers have that.
There are a lot of people still alive on the side of Isosuck. They're trying to push forward, and the 2 or 3 that are now just starting to stagger in, buying as much time as humanly possible, looking for some type of picks that are coming in. Lumero comes in and starting to trying to boop everybody off with the Primal Rage just to buy a little bit more, but Lucidio is doing the same.
They had a barrier. It's going to let them stick for a little while. A good sleep. They're actually sticking with it. This isn't over yet. The Pulse Bomb takes out the Genji. That's very crucial. This is all up to this Tracer, though, to try to do some damage. Yes, the D.Va's there as well, but the D.Va can't do a tremendous amount. Nice swap off. Actually, Void swaps off to the Reinhardt. Reinhardt, of course, very good in these brutal, scrappy battles. No way. The defenders actually managed to stabilize. That's insane.
1 minute, 20 seconds now left for the attackers to push in on here. Defenders have done a really great job of getting their feet back underneath of them, trying to dictate these fights, spreading out on a regular basis to kind of neutralize this dive that keeps coming at them. Right as soon as the Winston comes in, you can see everybody from the defenders separates out. Now Void is sitting on this Reinhardt and is going to provide a whole bunch more protection, making it really, really different for the attackers to push through.
Oh no, Toro's in trouble. Oh, he gets side. Everybody from all sides. He was a little bit too far stepping up in the back, though. Amazements manages to, not quite get anybody. Oh no, no Exosturm as well. No Ana, no Mercy, though. They trade out. We've seen the defending team come back from worse here. Right now, there's no Mercy. Break it down. Lucio Barrier is going to do quite a bit. Void with a double! Charges! Genji taken out as well. This is so close right now. Wipe up top. Needs to find lots of damage. Game Jam and his fellow, well, his fellow DPS goes down. Can Wipe find the shots?
Now have the Lucio and the Ana that are providing support. Exosturm is really far back in the back, just trying to keep this Lucio alive. It's just 2 supports that are just trying to buy as much time up as this clock as they can. There's only 10 seconds left, and this cart maybe has to go another 15 meters.
This is insane. Matrym Wibe did such a good job of equalizing this a little bit more for the attackers. Beat down Boulevard, has the Blade, trying to go for the Ana. You can see it through the wall. No, Ana actually takes him down. 1v2 against the Winston. The Ana player takes down the Blade and Genji. That is massive. I Shot Wabbit with the res. It's a solo res just on this Pharah. Pharah has Barrage. Let's see what she can find with that. But still, this is just absolutely insane. Rocket Barrage gonna get 1, 2. The D.Va mech.
Wipe is trying best to keep everybody off this cart, trying to track everybody, get everybody down. Lumero's coming in. This has been a really long overtime at this point.
This is crazy.
If anybody steps off of this cart, for anybody on the attackers, that means that this is going to be over. But look at how many bodies they have now. It's just Void.
Lucido didn't get the barrier off. That's decisive. If he had just been able to live for one more second, he would have had the barrier. That would have been so amazing. Toro and Exosturm left on Winston. This Winston's going down so quickly, though. Only 150 health left. No healers for him. He's still alive. The healing comes in from Lucido. He also has the barrier. Break it down. Double kill from Kurju's ultimate. That was the craziest hold I've seen in a long time, Matrym.
That Sneva's self-destruct was perfectly placed to force everybody back, and the moment that they had to step away, they either had to choose to either die to the D.Va bomb and not let the cart move, or to try to go to cover and survive through it. The people that made it to cover couldn't make it back in time, and that means that we now get a victory on the side of Baby Bayside.
That was crazy. I have never seen... twice in a row, too. Two of the craziest back-and-forth offense-defense fights. We saw great plays from every player all around. Every player had their chance to shine in that last fight. You can even see these stats are amazing across the board. Every player had their play, had their moment, but in the end, Kurju's bomb got a double kill. I mean, the attackers, they had to stay on the point. It was an overtime. The defenders had the advantage there. They just couldn't quite get enough momentum to cap it.
And with that, I have to say, much respect to both teams, both coaches, put on an amazing performance. Baby Bays does get the win on that. But ISOStucks, you're going to be a team to watch as we push through this. We saw a lot of great plays. Specifically, we saw like a lot of just control, understanding how to use the map, understanding what win conditions are. These are all the core elements that you want to see out of a team, and a lot of great synergies on both sides and teams communicating, working together. I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen with both of these teams the further they progress.
That was phenomenal. That was phenomenal. Both teams played so well. The nerves at the end there, really, like that was at the end. Just imagine the fatigue, right? It's just one map, but the players constantly having to call out, in just this giant 2-minute fight, 2 of those in a row, and both teams were relatively cohesive throughout that entire thing. So great job on the comms to both IOSucks' team and Baby Bay's team. Big props to everyone. We're gonna get some people in here for an interview after this. Unfortunately, Baby Bay himself isn't gonna be in, but we will have Kurjun, one of the players on his team.
And yes, I had no chat. I accidentally said something. I was all hype in the moment. I apologize, but yes, it is IOStucks. I said ISOTux. I apologize on that. With this, we're going to be getting some of the players coming in. It looks like we're going to be getting Karjun and
really good job, everybody.
Hey, yes, you guys did do a really good job. We pulled you in.
I thought we did a good job too.
Right at the time. You guys are doing an amazing job.
Thanks.
Why? Thank you.
But no, of course you're like, okay, that last fight or that last 2 fights in a row, insane,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that was the stagger tactics. We needed to flex in the streets so that we could contest the fair and high ground and the 76, and the team did a really good job adjusting accordingly as we made it into streets.
I can definitely tell by your voice you guys are really excited about getting the win inside of that one. So what's it like been working with Baby Bay as you've been working through this? Like, what have you guys been focusing on? Have you been feeling a lot of improvements coming into your play based on it?
Well, originally, like I personally actually know Baby Bay and a few of the other guys in the professional scene, but we originally were going to do some cheesy stuff and do map-based strats, and it slowly turned into we wanted to try running Korean dive, and then we took advantage of everybody's hero pools. So basically, I call, but I like let everybody do everything that they do as best they can. So we have really good flexes, which I guess is our strength. So we take advantage of the different maps and everything, which is what we focused on. So we flex accordingly, and we take great pride in everybody's versatility and their hero pools.
Well, you guys definitely did run a lot of. You guys did make some switch ups as you were going inside of it. As far as on the defense, whenever you guys were looking at this, like, what were your specific points inside of the streets phase that you guys were looking to be successful in?
Well, I don't know if you guys saw, but we had TP on that last fight they went in, and we were going to combat TP, but the blade came in, and then the giant fight happened in Cafe, so we lost it. Well, we probably could have had a better hold there. We were trying to hold it for a combat TP, which led us into a really weird transition into second. And we basically were standing there with ults like my Reinhardt ult, and we had 1 or 2 other ults, and then we needed to transition so that we can contest high ground. So it was just stabilizing into streets and then contesting the correct heroes with the correct picks.
Well, I have to say that was really impressive. What was the biggest challenge for you guys growing as a team, especially initially?
One of the big things actually, and it's a big growing pain for a lot of pro teams actually, if you can't dedicate enough time to the game, was just we have a bunch of people who can play, but we all can't play at the same time. So we've had a tough time, getting all 6 or all 7 or all 8 of us in a group so that we can go through stuff. But we've been quick playing a bunch and just like getting to know each other, and like I've gotten to be really close with the supports because they make me invulnerable, and it's nice.
Yep.
It's just the quick plays, and then we can't scrim all the time, but we try and turn the quick plays into our scrims. So we're constantly calming. We're going over, what stuff we can do. And then I was formerly a coach for a team, so I know like what if Baby Bay can't be there, what we should be working on, and I could sort of take the hand off from him.
That's cool. So what would you say that Baby Bay's style is? Like, what is he focusing on with you guys?
Fragging. He's a DPS player. He's a DPS player, so he's up to date on the current metas. He's up to date on Korean Dive. He's up to date on 3-1s. He's up to date on all that stuff, and he's giving us the pro taste of it. So it's like we're not sugarcoating it, and we don't have the hero pool for it. Well, we're gonna try and make it work with the hero pools we have, and we actually have a Tracer and a Genji. So Korean Dive just fell into our lap, and it was like, okay, we're gonna run Korean Dive.
Yeah, that's great. Your Winston player is certainly not shabby at Winston as well. He made some pretty good plays. You guys just look like, hey, you just happen to have the comp. There you go. Work with it.
Yeah.
So now here's the question: what are you guys working on for the future? What do you see as your biggest growth points that you guys are going to be focusing on in the next week until we see you again?
Well, we actually I played main tank today, but we moved me to the flex tank role because of my hero pool. Our actual main tank wasn't able to play today, so we had a sub in, so I don't know how it's going to go for us, but one of the big things is just being versatile. Like, that's probably our biggest point going forward. Like, it shouldn't matter which 6 of us we put in. We're just going to be able to keep executing what we come up with and what our strats are, keep doing walkthroughs of the map so that we all understand everything and we can all work together. And then after we keep doing that, hopefully it turns out good for us and we get Baby Bay some more W's.
Hey, always nice to get the wins inside of this. I'm just curious about what were the comms like inside of that overtime last round there? Whenever you guys were going in on it, was it still calm and collected, or was it like, oh my god?
So the first push, the first fight going into the second fight, I called that we should brawl on cart. We were calling targets, and then after we called and we were fighting on targets, I noticed we were getting staggered and bleeding. So as I died, I made the call that if you can't get back and you're on a slow mover, make the swap. That's why our Ana went to Winston, and that's why another one of our heroes went to another fast person, and that's why we had that weird 1-1-4 comp at the end. And it was just so that we can continually get the staggers, because I was at 90% on Diva ult. So when I came in, Winston was on point. I was literally holding my matrix and everything, and I was just like, live for 5 seconds. I've got this. 76 went to the right, started dealing damage. Winston bought us enough time, and we staggered enough that I could get that clutch Diva ult off on the cart.
And I mean, that was what clinched it right there, forcing everybody to either choose to die to keep it from moving forward, or to try to move it forward, or to have to give up in the overtime. And that was such a long overtime fight. That was definitely the influential winner there for that round. So much congrats to you guys.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, congratulations, and definitely good luck for the next week. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you all for putting on the event, and thanks for casting.
Can't wait to see what you guys do next week. With this, we're waiting for just a second to get IOStucks together here.
Yep, that was Kurjun, the player for Baby Bay's team. Yeah, so we'll get IOStucks in here in just a second. I'm sure he's super happy about his team losing. He'll have lots of constructive things to say about his players knowing him.
He's gonna get on to me for saying his name wrong. I already know. I'm sorry. I'll tell you 15 times before we get in here.
ISO the man, the myth, the legend.
ISO okay, I keep looking at it. I kept seeing it that way. Like I don't know why. I know how to say it. I wasn't even looking at anything.
There
I
was
was
a
just
bug with
just
the
looking
overlay
away.
where it said ISO. Yeah, so.
That's what we'll lean into. Yeah, it's all the overlay's fault. It wasn't me
The
at all.
overlay made me do it. Well, if the overlay told you to jump off a bridge, would you do that too? You know.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna lean into. That's my defense. Yes. Told me to jump off the bridge, I would do it.
There you go.
But I was just really, really excited inside that round. That was a really great Hollywood showing from both of those teams. Unfortunately, one team does have to take away the win inside of it, but I was really impressed with both teams in general. Just to see such a contestation inside of the street space from both sides was just absolutely impressive.
And here we are, IOSucks, and a player on the team, Beatdown Boulevard. How are you doing?
Hey, Sky, long time no see. I'm doing fine, man.
I'm sorry, Io. I'm sorry I said ISO. That's my apologies.
It's
Sorry.
okay. No, it's okay. It's fine.
Everybody says
We all
my
do
name wrong
mistakes.
too. Everybody says my name wrong, so that's why I always feel bad whenever I say somebody else's name wrong. The number of times somebody's like Matrym or something else like that, I'm like, no, it's just like Matt, as in like the
Don't worry, I can forgive you, Matrym. It's okay.
For now. So, very close game. Razor thin how close that was. You guys.
Indeed.
On attack. So that must have been so, especially Beatdown Boulevard as playing in the game. That must have been so mentally tiring and stressful. Going 2 fights in a row that lasted like 2 minutes. How crazy was that?
Oh, it was a mess.
I
think that sums it up right there.
Yeah, I mean, like, so we were kind of preparing for this scenario where the enemies would just kind of turtle a little bit, which they were doing. They were like running, especially when we were attacking, they were running a Rhine, they were running a Diva. And especially if we run Farm Mercy Dive, Diva is actually incredibly annoying. Not only because we are very vulnerable to her bombs, but also because our defense matrix can eat up our Pharah ultimate. So our Pharah ultimates is definitely something that we're going to work on now, because I personally didn't anticipate it to be that much of an issue. And we're already working with some people of my own teams that I coach to figure stuff out and to just help them in every single way possible. And in my opinion, like, I'm very proud of them. Like, they really, really put up a fight. And if you look at some of the people on Babybase's team, like, they are actually, relatively high. Like, some of them made it into mid-masters. So considering that they put up a fight like this and they actually managed to hold them in street space on Hollywood, which is usually known to be just kind of that area where you stall and you try to get a bit of time and you don't usually hold there. Like, I was very, very surprised. And I was like, especially their attack on the first point was just solid all around.
I was very impressed with you guys' playstyle through all of this. I mean, this is a very competitive match that we saw, and I think you hit it on the head. Seeing it come down to street phase defense says something about your team in general and just about how strong they are and what you guys have been putting together. And I have to say that I'm really looking forward to what you guys are doing in future weeks. Like, what do you guys plan on to work on specifically, like getting off of like this map? I know that you kind of talked about some different styles and comps.
Exactly.
Are you guys happy with the comms and the communication?
We think our comms and our team comp and everything of that, like, that's actually fine. One thing we really want to work on now is our Farm Mercy synergy, because we, like, the dives that we performed, especially on the soldier, were relatively clean. Like, especially in streets phase, we actually managed to always start the fight with the soldier being picked off immediately. The problem was what happened afterwards. So the Mercy was kind of struggling, using the Pharah to just pull herself up and play a lot safer. And she got pressured really, really hard by the Tracer and ended up dying. So we didn't have the rest since she was already a 90. So this kind of Mercy and Pharah synergy is really something that we want to improve on at the moment. And to be honest, I think that the rest of the team is actually performing well, especially Steak Bomb, who is our Lucio player. He's kind of really taking over the comms a lot, and he's taking care of target calls and really supporting everyone. And that's something that I just want to build on. Like, I think our comms are actually really good. It's just that our execution is what was lacking there. And I am very, very confident that over the next week, you guys will see a completely new team IOSucks.
Well, I've been very impressed with... yes! It's not just me! But I've been very impressed. You could tell that you guys had very clean communication just based off of the way you guys engaged and your focus specifically. Like, you could tell that people were pairing up and specifically like on objectives to try to make sure that you guys were stalling whenever you guys were on defense. Beatdown Boulevard, start off with, that's an amazing name. What's it like being working with IOStech specifically?
Professionally, he's a really good teacher, I think. He's really blunt, and I think that's important, though, because if we'll have an issue, he will lay it out, and he'll tell us how we're supposed to fix it, and then over time, we just work on it. And it's a pretty simple method, but it's how we went from our first day together practicing our pharmacy dive, and I wish I had a VOD for you to see. Compare that to now. What was it? It's only been like 2 weeks, and now I think we're doing much better than we used to be.
So speaking of that, or like your early weeks, IOStech, what was your first step, right? So you got these 6 people. Besides scheduling and stuff, that's always hard, right? But so you have these 6 players. What is the first step to get them in line? Like, what was your focus building them up in this first initial phase?
Now, when I first came to them, the most important thing for me was to find a team comp that we can play where everyone is on a kind of comfort pick. At the start, we actually wanted to play Zarya instead of Soldier, and we wanted to play Zenyatta instead of Lucio. But in the end, we just saw, there were weaknesses with the Zenyatta. He was very easily diveable, and we couldn't really build on that Zarya-Winston synergy as much, so we just put them onto comfort picks. I think iShotWabbit is the only one who we needed to put on a role that is not his main role, that he likes to play in solo queue. But I think he's been faring really, really well. Now, looking at the characters that they played, I knew that Pharmacy Dive is probably going to be our best bet, to be honest, because it's relatively hard to deal with, and it's very communication reliant, and not as much on individual skill. And the reason I wanted a team comp that relies a lot on communication is because I knew, okay, so 3 weeks is relatively tight. I can teach them communication. Okay, but I'm very limited in how much I can help them in their individual play, because I won't just be able to make them, the next esports stars over the span of 3 weeks. So once we figured that out, we just started going over each individual map. We started giving call-outs, and we just did very dry practices of how our dives are structured, giving countdowns, when to call locations, and, an entire target priority list, and how to call in the middle of the fight. So our emphasis really was just on communications mainly.
So I have a very important question for you, Io.
Yes.
For some reason, we haven't asked this yet. But if you win the shoes, which hero are you getting on the shoes?
Probably Tracer, because shoes and Tracer. I think it fits really well, man. Like that one picture where the trail of her blink is behind her, the one that they used for the Overwatch League logo, that would look amazing, man.
Cool. Or here you go. Get some Overwatch League designer shoes. And
that would be amazing.
And then coach the team for Overwatch League.
Oh man, there we go. The motivation is on now. Like, we're going to absolutely stomp next week. I have no doubt, man. Like, Beatdown, we need to go hard now. No excuses anymore.
You aren't sleeping this week now. He's got the motivation. He was already super motivated.
Let's go.
That's all right. I'm ready.
Good. But you guys have been doing a really good job casting, except with the whole ISO-Stux deal. But I mean, you guys deserve some credit as well, man. Like, you've been keeping the show going, and you haven't been, what you've been talking and analyzing, was pretty much spot on. Like, you weren't, interpreting stuff wrong or anything. Like, it was really good. I liked it. I liked spectating.
Oh, I love you too. I may watch a lot of your videos to help me with them.
We are ISO-Stux verified now.
That's getting that ad revenue. Let's go. Okay, all jokes aside, well, I mean, there's really nothing left to say from my end.
All right, cool. So, any secret strats you got going for next week? Any IOStux specials?
Ooh, man. Well, I'm just going to say that if the next team is going to try and play D.Va against us, we're going to have an answer. I already have some things in mind, man. It's going to be great.
That's great to hear. Well, good luck next week, guys. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much, man.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, have a good one.
Okay, have a good one, guys. See ya. Oh, yeah, definitely. Have a good one.
All right, see you.
All right, that was IOStux and Boulevard, the player on his team. So thank you once again for coming on, you two. And we have the next match coming up relatively soon. We're going to have it a little bit early because we're moving things right along. Right now it's 2:30, and we should have our next match ready in about 10 to 15 minutes. In the meantime, though, let's introduce these two teams that are coming up, Team Arrow and Team 2K.
Oh, we've got some interesting stuff going on. Team Arrow worked with Immortals for a few months, did analysis for Liquid for a few weeks, and has been with TSM for a period of time as well.
That's a lot of good teams.
That's definitely some name. That's some name recognition going in behind that. He was with the Immortals whenever they won the NGE event, and he was the coach that was with them at the directed time. He firmly believes that Overwatch has a lot more than just mechanics and game sense, and tends to focus a lot more on coaching, communication, and mental and emotional aspects of the game.
Yeah, very, very important. Very important. That's what I tend to focus on as well. It's just so important to be able to have the correct state of mind, be positive, not tilt, all that stuff, and also have good comms. Just that alone can carry teams so far. It's amazing. Next up, we have 2K. So 2K, he used to coach for LG, Northern Gaming, Clutch, Gale Force. There's more. He played for NG Red, and it goes on. He's been around. He's played in ESL Invitationals. He played at BlizzCon. It's crazy, and he's truly a professional coach. Truly. So both of these
coaches in this event. The coaches in these events are just so good. They have so much background. I'm really impressed with everything with WaWa's structure, and they got this together. Again, if you guys aren't part of this community, these are guys that you could be interacting with inside of the Overwatch Discord. So please make sure you guys are part of that if you are not already. I mean, there's so much valuable information coming off of players like our coaches, like what we're talking about right now.
It's just such an amazing event. I love it. It's so exciting. Plus, being able to bring the coaches in, talk to them, it's fun. It's great. It's promoting new teams in the scene, especially with the new Contenders series. Now, I think the registration for that is closed now, but especially with new Contenders series coming out for Overwatch, where just anybody can join it with. Overwatch League even on the horizon, players kind of looking at that potentially. It's just, there's so much cool stuff going on Overwatch, and this event is just the perfect thing to preface all of that.
Yeah, that raises an interesting question. I'm curious if any of these teams will stick together and try to power in and get some spots on the Overwatch Contenders. I mean, it is a fairly open invite right now. So see what we can get out of that. I'm very curious to see how these players grow after all of this time with inside of these coaches, and what's going to happen next with them.
Oh yeah, and by the way, we're not selling a product, guys. We're not trying to sell you something. This is not This is not a glorified infomercial. WaWa's Bootcamp is a Discord server. It's just a community. It's free. There is no one to pay. You can't pay anyone even if you want to. You just go to Discord. There's some rules. It's very quick, very easy. You can get a coach. These are all volunteers. It's just there for you guys. Just there for the community. We're putting on this fun event because hey, Overwatch is a pretty cool game.
Well, if they're going to get onto us for selling out, might as well go full on with it and remind everybody to make sure that they're talking inside of chat. Just by staying active inside of chat, as active, i.e. talking about once every 10 minutes or saying something inside of chat, it gives you the opportunity to have a chance to win the prizes that we go through today. I think we've given away all 3 of our mouse pads, so the only thing that's left is just a really cool Soldier 76 figure.
Yes, that's it. We have the last thing that we're giving out is the Chibi Soldier 76 little figurine. It's so cute, guys. It's so cool. I want it. Maybe I should type in the chat. Here, I'll just type a little ABC in the chat right now so that I can potentially win it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do that either.
You didn't do that either? That's funny.
Not at all.
That's funny. I swear I saw your name earlier.
No. It's somebody else. Somebody else pretending to be me.
That's a problem. That's a problem. There's only one Matrym.
There are a lot of them, actually. It's kind of surprising. I thought that not very many people would have my name, but it's kind of all over the place. Although I did have to admit, I was playing Overwatch the other day, and I played against a Skyline that wasn't you. And I was I was tilted the whole time. I went to go play against him. I was like, Skyline, is that you? And they were like, yes, I am me. I was like, it's me. And he was just like, no, I don't know who you are. And then they hopped into comms. His voice was like, hey, what's up, guys? I was like, no, you're not Skyline.
Hey, what's up? Yep. That was just me doing my that's my normal voice. That's my non-casting voice. Hello. Yeah, there's a lot of Skylines. I get that a lot. People are like, "Hey, I saw you in my silver quick play game." I'm like, "That wasn't me." Oh, hey, I saw you in my No Limits, arcade game. Nope. That's it wasn't me either, but it's okay. It's kind of cool. There's a lot of Skylines, though. We'll get into this match in just a second, guys. As a reminder, so we're giving away the soldier thing. That's going to be after the match. So, we're going to suck you're going to have to watch the match to get the soldier thing. Sorry. But
stick with it.
It's not even a sorry. Hey, I'm not even going to apologize for that because these matches have been insane. Did you see that last match Matrym? Like, that was crazy.
The end of it was so absolutely like intense. These players are really showing up. Definitely trying to make sure that you can see like such coordination that's starting to develop inside of them. I just can't wait. If this is the first week, imagine what we're going to be seeing towards the later end of this event. Every single week, they're just getting better and better.
I can't imagine. We're just going to be watching like straight up Selfless versus, Selfless versus Rocket Esports. Like, it's going to be the actual team,
Then that's going to raise an interesting question. Does that mean that Rocket Esports then has to play?
They're going to become the farm team.
Versus Rockets?
They're going to be picked up as Selfless Blue.
Or Selfless Evil or Selfless Loyal.
I think that's taken. I don't think they can do that. Selfless good, selfless bad would probably have a bad connotation, right? Selfless. No, there can be selfless and then selfish.
Oh.
Yeah,
there we go.
That's terrible. Don't do that. That's a bad idea.
And so we just want to thank everybody that has been watching throughout this event so far. Everybody in Twitch chat, you guys have been absolutely amazing. Again, remember to stay active throughout the Kappa Prides on this. That's perfectly fine. We can take it. We are waiting for everybody from Arrow's team to get into place right now. Well, I know that the schedule does say the fact that it's going to be another 20 minutes before the next match, but we are trying to get everybody in as quick as we can because this is going to be our last match of the day.
Yep, last match. After the match, we're going to be giving away the soldier chibi thing. It's going to be exciting. Arrow and 2K, as we just explained, are amazing coaches. And hey, we're just going to get some players into the lobby. We'll be right back, guys. See you in just a bit.
When I think of the future, I think of the men and machines and friends and ideas and philosophy and spirits. Men and machines. And machines.
Are you trying your hardest to climb SR, but keep losing games? Do you waste your ults every time you try to use them? Maybe you have a few heroes you want to learn, but have no idea where to start? Then you should join WaWa's Boot Camp. WaWa's Boot Camp is a Discord server with tons of pros and coaches standing by to help you become better at Overwatch. Our coaches are all volunteers with tons of great advice for people who want to get better. You'll be spectated live as you play by one of our coaches and given advice on the fly about what you're doing right and wrong.
When you get close range like that and you can't track them very well, do right-click melee combos. I cannot stress it enough.
Or you might go through a video of your performance and be given a detailed analysis of what you could do to improve.
You almost have graph soon. And this should be a big graph. This should be a huge graph here. Without a Rhine shield, you could just throw it anyway. Not exactly. Yeah, you should have used it. This is not a fight you could win. You need to engage with the Graviton when you can.
I can guarantee that you will come away feeling like you have the tools to get better at this game. But don't take my word for it. Here's some testimonials from others who have joined us. Best of all, you can get all this personalized advice for free. We do this out of our love for this game and a desire to see the community grow. So what are you waiting for? Join WaWa's boot camp today.
Hello everyone, welcome back. So we have this next match starting very, very soon. We are minutes away, really. We just have one player, I think, left to come back into the lobby. But let me just say, this has been a great event so far. One more game. I'm sure it's going to be phenomenal, like we've seen all the rest of the games today. And can't wait.
I'm really curious to see what we're going to be seeing out of these two different teams that are coming in now. We've got essentially Arrow versus 2K. We did a quick breakdown on them. We'll run through that again. Arrow has worked with Immortals, done some work with Team Liquid, also TSM whenever they were building their roster. 2K has worked with LG, Northern Gaming, Clutch, Gale Force, and it played for NG Red. So this is definitely going to be a real clash of very experienced coaches. Can't wait to see what they bring into this match.
We've seen some cool stuff this entire time. I mean, I can't imagine. We just have to wait to see. We have been seeing a lot of Torbjorn played, which makes sense because Torbjorn is very strong against teams that don't have a ton of coordination because you just sit there. He really blocks all ins. It's you can expect a lot of these teams to have like these all-in comps where you just dive and you just go kill them all because it's not quite as delicate as some other strategies, and Torbjorn just counters that so nicely. Symmetra is in a similar vein as well.
Well, really good for filling in gaps. Specifically, these teams haven't had a long time to play with each other. Remember, this has been roughly 2 weeks that these coaches have had time to get in, really figure out how to work with these teams, figure out what comps to run. So we're seeing them at the very beginning stages of their growth. And that's one of the big cool parts about this event. We're going to see them right as soon as they start the coaching and how all of these players develop. I think that's going to be one of the cooler things that we see as we go into this week by week.
That's what I'm really looking forward to. So this first week, it's cool, right? This first week, we're seeing some good games. We're getting some insight from the coaches. It's all great. But the real spice of this event is watching the following weeks, seeing, hey, what are they going to be bringing in next week? How are they growing? How are they getting better? Hey, this team that got kind of wrecked this week is doing amazing this week. This team that did amazing last week, oh, well, it looks like the other team's kind of passed them. You know, all that, all those dynamics, that is really what this event is about, not just the one individual game.
All about growth, and that's a big part of what WaWa's Discord is about, is just getting everybody together. And I'm really looking forward to it. Reminder, everybody, stay active in chat. Talk at least about once every 10 minutes. There's several of you guys that are in here. Make sure that you're keeping the chat flowing, because that gives you a chance to win the soldier pop figure that we're going to have after this. It'll be right after the event is whenever we're going to do the roll to see who gets in that. So make sure you guys are staying active inside of it. We're getting the last couple of people inside of the lobby right now, and we will get this match underway in just a few minutes.
Yeah, just a couple minutes. We'll get it started a little bit early. So it's scheduled for 3 o'clock. We'll probably get it done in 10 minutes before that.
5 minutes or so.
Yeah, 5 minutes or so. Why not? They're just waiting for one more player. And we can see these teams, man. I've got to say, what's really been impressing me is that every single one has the icon synergy. All six of the Pachimaris. Maybe not so much up here. Oh, they're doing it right now. They heard me.
That's the big thing. There's enough. Got to run the icon synergy.
There's enough stream delay that they definitely didn't hear me, but that was just kind of creepy. How the moment I said that, these both swapped off to Illidan. Come on, MBK. You don't have Illidan?
Everybody has Illidan, don't they? Don't you just get it right now because it was part of the celebration?
Yep. You just get it. So we have 5 Illidans waiting for number 6 to eventually arrive.
Illidan's as you guys can.
Illidan, I think, maybe it's just my edgy teenager from when I played that game, but Illidan was definitely one of my favorite characters. I'm down with the Illidan icon.
Well, see, I played WoW really, really heavily back during Burning Crusade. Like Vanilla and Burning Crusade were where I played the most at, and a little probably Wrath as well. But so I'll never get over that first trailer. Like while I was hardcore into Vanilla WoW, whenever they put out the "You are not prepared," and dude, I was like, I still go back and watch that every once in a while. I don't care that it's like 10-year-old graphics or whatever. It's still a Blizzard cutscene. It's still super solid.
They held up pretty well.
Makes me feel good.
They held up pretty well for sure. We're gonna get to see these teams in just a little bit. I think so. What do you think? What was your favorite strat today that you've seen? We haven't seen too many crazy strats, but we haven't seen enough. We saw like the Pharah on defense, which is a bit irregular. Torb Symmetra only Symmetra, only Torb. So we've actually seen the whole gamut of weird support heroes, right? But what have you seen so far that's piqued your interest on Hollywood?
Well, I always really enjoy watching Symmetra play because, again, I like to see how the Symmetra turrets get set out, seeing the wave of different like turret placements because each person kind of does it a little bit different, and you have to mind game to some degree. You have to go, okay, they're going to approach from this path to try to build that early ult charge, so you have to kind of like layer them out and be very sneaky about how you set them up. But that said, I actually did kind of. I was very much enjoying the last round how we saw some dive finally hit the table. Dive right now is really, really strong if done well and coordinated well. If not, it falls apart very, very quickly. But I always enjoy watching the Winston jump in, then everybody execute and seeing like the other flankers just jump right onto Winston's target.
Yes. It's amazing to watch teams that are not pro teams or even semi-pro or even, you could, I guess at this point you could class them as amateur teams. At this point, they've put in enough effort. I feel like I wonder how these teams would do if you put them into the Athena Cup. So, in case you guys don't know, the Athena Cup is like one of the bigger of the tier 2 like amateur tournaments around. I think that these teams would actually do pretty well just by themselves.
I think a big part of it is about like the growth inside of it. So I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of this, whenever we get to the end of this event, we might see some of these teams playing in some of the smaller events just to continue forward. Naturally, the coaches might end up having to take care of different stuff and they might not stay one-on-one, but you never know. We might see some growth and like these coaches be like, that's it. I'm with you guys. Let's see what we can do. And that would be really, really cool to see. Like maybe we should talk to some of the guys.
Well, yeah, we heard some of the previous coaches say, hey, this is going beyond just the event, just winning the shoes. We'll tell you about the shoes in a bit for those of you who are just joining. But, we're actually becoming friends. This is actually something that we're really getting invested into. And I think it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful to watch. But that being said, there are prizes for the winning players of the team, the actual team itself. But the big grand prize goes to the winning coach that takes first place in this event. They get designer shoes. These are not just any shoes, guys. These are the cream of the crop shoes. This is done by this guy. Makes shoes for professional athletes, big name athletes. These shoes are worth like $2,000-$3,000. Custom made artisan shoes with any hero you want, any Overwatch hero you want, any Overwatch design. So it's a great prize for these coaches.
I mean, we're talking several $1,000 shoes. I know it sounds weird to be excited about that, but could you imagine having $5,000 shoes? Like, I don't know. Like I said it earlier, I'm not sure if I could bring myself to wear them. That's like, I grew up like poor farm boy life, seeing $5,000 shoes. I put them like in a glass case somewhere and be like, no one touches these ever. If you won $5,000 shoes, would you wear them?
You know what? I feel like I would wear them. I mean, I would be very careful with them, right? I would probably wear other shoes. I would wear them to like events and stuff, and I would wear them to specific places, but I would wear different shoes to the event and then change into those shoes at the event, But I don't know.
See, that would be.
It's weird because that one pair of shoes is more expensive than any other, like all my shoes combined that I've ever bought in my entire life.
I just don't know. I know my luck is I would like put them on and wear them, and then it would just be like torrential downpour or something like that day. It would be like 95 degrees out, super sunny, but the moment I put them on, went to wherever I was going, it would just be like flooding would happen. It'd be like, oh, got time to go barefoot for the rest of the day.
Hey guys, want to hear something cool? We have, how I said before, all we have left is the soldier? Well, guess what? We have a 4th mouse pad. WaWa found it under his bed, under his cushions in his couch. He found it there. It's an extra one. It's just got a couple dog hairs on it. No problem. We'll clean it off. No, just kidding. But we do have an extra mouse pad that we have somehow turned up, and we'll be giving that one away as well before the next match. So everyone, make sure you get active in chat. Say
words.
Say words. Oh gosh, ABC 1 2 3. Don't spam too much. Let's make it coherent English, hopefully. But
it doesn't even have to be coherent English. It just has to be chat active.
Yeah, just be active. Blah, 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 right? And so we'll roll it off very, very shortly and announce the winner when that happens. But we're at 10 minutes until the deadline now, so the player will be coming on very soon.
we have gotten message. We are waiting on one specific player at the direct time. The other team has said that he is on the way, so hopefully we'll get this going. Remember that it is not necessarily supposed to start for like another 10 minutes, so he's not really late. We're just trying to get this match rolling earlier for you guys because you guys have been with us for such a while, and I know that you want to get the next match underway.
We're gonna roll for the prize. The admin's gonna roll for the prize pretty soon. 4 mouse pads, man. 3 mouse pads, that was cool, but 4? That's just insane. You can't give away 4 mouse pads. It's never been done before.
Never.
Never.
It's too much mouse pad. What would you do with 4 mouse pads? Because you imagine if like one person won all of them.
Won
and they
all
just had like a
4.
desk that was just a giant mouse pad.
Oh man, that'd be too much mouse pad. There are a lot of uses for mouse pads, but I don't know about 4 of these giant mouse pads. We'll have to see. All right, I think we have a winner now. Yep, we have one. It's Omamori. Omamori.
Omamori.
Well, enjoy your mouse pad. Hope you use it. Hope you have a good mouse to go along with it. How we were talking before about how people using like $1 Microsoft mice along with mouse, like beautiful mouse pads.
And with this, guys, looks like we're getting the last invite in. Just to give you guys a walkthrough on everybody that are on the teams. 2K consists of Road to Hokage, you better believe it. Zelda, Fire, Daddy's Soup. I don't know about that one. Joshi and Kiwi. On the other side, we've got Nuggets McGee, Jimmy John, Whipif, Kishi, MBK, and Gamesaya.
There it is. Nuggets McGee still loading in. That icon sticking out like a sore thumb. Is that a pancake?
That's the
or is that
man?
I don't know.
I thought it was like rice or something like, wasn't it? Wasn't it steamed rice?
Yes. Yes, it is. That's what it is. Don't worry. It's
gotta
way
weave
too,
it up super hard here.
It's way too thick to be a pancake. I don't know what I was talking about. But we're ready. We're gonna start the game in just a little bit. So you said, well, I want to see more Torbjorn personally. I just love seeing Torbjorn. Torbjorn's cool. Maybe another Torbrissa. We'll see.
Torbrissa is really, really strong, but it's, again, not a lot of people are very familiar with Orisa, and Orisa has so much use specifically on Hollywood, because you see the attackers on a regular basis will go up on the other side of Juice, or I don't know, Cafe, either side of it that you want to call on, and they'll come up there, and the ability to use Halt to pull everybody down off of that really disrupts a nice attack approach, and it can be very, very strong, specifically if you couple that with throwing the shield down in front of the Torbjorn turret. It just requires a certain level of play and communication with the rest of the team that everybody has to be ready for that to go off.
All we can do now is watch the match, I think. By the way, we have another... So that mousepad, that was extra. We still have another soldier toy thing to give away. A little chibi soldier thing. That's going to be after the match. That's the coolest one, I think. Mousepads are cool. Actually, mousepads are functional, right? You can use a mousepad. You can't really use a chibi, but you can put it on your shelf. And it can be pretty cool.
It's a conversation topic. People come over and they're like, oh, so you play Soldier 76. Because let's be honest, everybody knows about Overwatch at this point. It's like getting that cult level of like knowledge that everyone knows.
It's kind of like it's not quite at League of Legends level, right? Where people
heresy.
I know. I know. It's not quite at some other games. They're maybe not as good, but for sure it's very mainstream now. You can be like, hey, Overwatch, and people are like, oh, I know Tracer. I know that purple girl. I know that Overwatch is one of my favorite characters. I love Overwatch.
I love Overwatch. I play Overwatch all the time. I specifically like Overwatch's Ultimates.
Yes.
I've had conversations like that every once in a while because people are like, what do you do? Oh, like, yeah, I do some casting for Overwatch. They're like, oh, I really like that character. And you're like, no,
I love Overwatch. Yep, Mr. Overwatch in the comics is my favorite.
Okay, I have to give a shout out to Tickety, specifically running Icon Synergy with the rest of the team as being one of the coaches for Team Arrow. We didn't get a chance to really talk about Tickety. A lot of these teams also do have backup coaches as well and assistant coaches as they go through. Tickety has come from the CSGO to Overwatch midway through Season 3. So we're getting a lot of CSGO experience coming through. A lot of it does translate well over into Overwatch, actually, first-person shooter mechanics. And around the beginning of Season 4, joined the Overwatch competitive community, is presently going to UCSD, and is been very, very strong the way through it. In scrims, they've been running a lot more dry runs than scrims, specifically just trying to go all the way through it, not focusing on these specific aspects of it. And they're trying to formalize their team to play very similar to how Rogue plays.
Well, let's see if we can tell the difference.
Well, we've had a lot of parallels inside of some of the teams, specifically the way coaches play. So it'll be interesting to see how different influences from different styles of coaches intermix inside this with the assistant coaches. But we are now in Hollywood, everybody. This is our last match of the day, so everybody get excited, get hype. Make sure you're chatting because we still do have that soldier to give away directly after the match, and we are now in Goldshire Studios.
Last match of the day. I am certainly excited. Let's see what the defending team has to work with here. Arrow is the team defending, attacking in the red. Is 2K. 2K's team.
Oh, look at this. The red team has already started to figure out how to play in events. You just start sitting over on all these heroes that you know that you're not going to play. It's a very, very common thing to do. The more competitive matches that you play, you start to try to troll the casters.
Yes,
Thank you guys.
Yes, the better the teams are, the trollier the comps are before the game starts. That is correct. I mean, you never know. This is a pretty good comp. You know, Junkrat, Torbjorn, whatever. But yeah, this is a pretty standard defensive comp.
Yeah, triple tank leaning into the known and trusted, tossing some soldier for spice and running the Ana Lucio. Yep, pretty standard what we've been seeing from Overwatch.
This is the triple tank. This is the classic, the good old triple tank comp with the Roadhog, Reinhardt, Zarya, all very strong, very good at defending these backline supports. And then, of course, the soldier is your main bulk of DPS, but Roadhog can get picks as well. And then the two supports, Ana for all that healing. The grenade lets you heal those tanks up very quickly. Of course, synergizes with the Lucio ultimate. This attacking team, though, very aggressive, very early on.
And very high dive comp. Look at this. We've got a Winston running alongside triple DPS. That is going to be a soldier, Tracer, and Genji. Finalized in with a Zenyatta and a Lucio.
Ooh, dive in very early on by Josh. He doesn't have enough support, unfortunately. He gets taken out very early on. These attackers have to get back. Let's see if they can manage to do it. They do. Daddy Soup, unfortunately, gets knocked by Wepif's Fire Strike. So Wepif up to 20% ultimate. Not the most tragic thing in the world, but you can see these defenders have a decent amount of ultimate advantage. 20% up on most of their ults.
And yeah, I mean, that was really good understanding from the side of the attackers. Jumped in, instantly lost a pick, said, hey, wait a minute, back off. Everybody's pulling back. We did get a call out for a pause at the direct time. Somebody's dealing with some ping-related issues. So everybody's trying to get that underway, see if maybe it'll regulate down, maybe turn off some stuff in the background. You know the standards. Try to make sure that you have the highest amount of ping humanly possible, so that way you can make sure you get those hits off.
The highest amount of ping. Yes, correct.
The lowest amount of ping. You want the lowest amount of ping. Oh my
You want the best ping.
I want all the high ping. Bring me the 1,000 ping. I will be the best player ever. Well, actually, with favor the shooter as Overwatch is, sometimes that can be beneficial.
There was a point. There was a point in Overwatch history where having high ping was really broken. I think that was as far back as beta, but they've fixed that since then. Because it used to be like favor the shooter, so you'd have 1,000 ping and hit someone from 5 miles around a wall. It was pretty rough, but now there's a ping limit. Once you get past about 150-ish, I think it starts to get pretty rough. Anything below that is not terrible.
So I want to say we haven't seen much of this match, and naturally it's only 3 minutes and 10 seconds still remaining on the clock. But we did see some really nice play come out as the side of the attackers. They went in, realized that they didn't have the tool, like they instantly lost a member, pulled back. A lot of times teams that don't have good communication or good synergy will try to brute force it anyway and give up a lot of free ult charge in that early push. So very solid understanding. You can already start to see the synergies on teams start working together. Triple tank also does require a lot of synergy and team communication as well. I know it's very simple. It's just kind of like death ball and walk together. But specific communication on, hey, we've got a pick here with this Roadhog hook, everybody reacting together. Sure, you have the survivability, but in order to get the kills, you have to make sure that there's a lot of communication that's coming into play.
There we go, on pause. This is a dive composition, so this is going to happen fast and furious. Winston diving up top with the Genji. Jimmy John might be in trouble. He has 34 health. Oh my gosh, he actually got out. That's absolutely insane, but he runs straight into the, out of the fire, out of the frying pan into the fire. Gets one taken out, so there's no soldier anymore for this attacking team. Joshi dead as well, so this is another step back. Jimmy John, wow, amazing. Living with 30 health. That dive was so close to being successful.
And I have to say, if your name is going to be Road to Hokage, you need to be running the Genji. That just seems absolutely fitting.
Road to Hokage, yeah. I mean, that's definitely.
That's the way it's got to be. Everybody on the attacker side is now rallying together, trying to make sure that they have the directed approach. 2K is still doing a good job on communication. They just have to break through all of the health pool that is this triple tank comp.
Oh, look at that. Such a nice pick on Road to Hokage. No more Genji anymore for the attackers. They can't push through this. Fire down as well. Wow. So many picks right now for this defending team. Arrow's team doing very well. Another hook.
Whenever you run the dive comp, if you lose people too early, that neutralizes your ability. What you want to do is you want to be the aggressors. You want to come in with fire gusto, take out the targets first. If you lose people too early, then it just absolutely neutralizes any of your chances to come in. So Gooden's playing with it. But that being said, I don't know if this dive comp's going to be holding together for too much longer. We're 1 minute and 40 seconds left, and they need to make sure that they pull the trigger, but they don't have a whole bunch of ults to work with. Really close on several of them. Road to Hokage is about to have a click over now, and that means all 3 of their DPS will have tools necessary to potentially get some kills here.
Here we go, around the back, hook on Joshi. Oh no, that was so early on. Difficult. Here we go though, Dragon Blade. Oh, gets taken out by the Visor as well. Nano Visor, so hard to deal with. Gets countered though by the Zenyatta ultimate. Jimmy John, I don't know if he can survive for long enough. He has the shield. He needs to find the shots. Takes out the tac visoring soldier. I think that takes out his ultimate as well. No, 88% still on Daddy Soup.
Still have some people hanging out in the background. There we go. Fire's finally getting taken down. 58 seconds now left. Everybody on the defenders is coming back and rallying together. This is, you can see a lot of people are on fire from the side of Arrow's team. Doing a good job. Just keep leaning back into their same basic defensive strategy. A fight will break out. Everybody pulls back in. All the tanks stay right on the point. All the support squishies move up from the top, just trying to get line of sight. Here we go. This could potentially be the last push for 2K.
Oh no, the hook on the Ana. That's massive. I think if they get back right now, they still have time though. If they can live.
They've got to retreat. They're putting themselves in a dangerous position. You can tell that right now they're trying to figure out if they should go in, and they decide to pull the trigger in on this.
Jimmy John gets dove on. Gets back though. The Ana for the attacking team needs to get back. If they don't, it's going to be such a hard time. Joshi is going to pop the Winston ultimate. Goes on the Ana. Doesn't find too much. Not enough damage on the Ana. Jimmy John on top doing terrible, terrible damage to all of these players. Zelda going down as well. Gets hooked. Oh no, one more rocket I think. Oh, very nice shot by Kui in the back. But I think this might be it. Overtime. It's all one Zenyatta versus the world. What can you do? Not too much. Winston as well stalling out. That's it. Flies. Whoa, goodbye. Winston blasting off again. Oh, we're still in here though. No, that's going to be it. So that is a full hold here on Hollywood from Team Arrow. Excellently played triple tank defense.
Just stick to the tried and true, the bread and butter of Overwatch, which is the triple tank that we've been seeing for months. It's a very solid way to just try to stay alive. That seemed to be the sole purpose of this comp, is to try to just stay as alive as long as they can and get those early picks. That's the amount of picks that we saw coming out on the side. Team Arrow, they were very, very, like almost neutralized every single push beforehand. We saw Annas get taken out. We saw DPS members get taken out. And now it's all on to 2K. They have to make sure that they hold this to make sure that if they want to try to go and push this in. Remember, if we do end up with a tie, we are going to move into a one King of the Hill round to decide who wins this. But as far as it goes with the new change-up and the new rules, the attackers only have to get to that first third, that first yellow chevron that's showing on the map, on the markers, to see who manages to get this win.
Arrow is looking so strong. I think they might be able to take this. I think they might be able to. That's the hard part of running a dive composition. So 2K's team was trying to run a hard dive composition, and when you have an inexperienced team and you don't have a long time to practice, remember these pro teams that are running those Korean dive style comps, they're literally professional. They actually are professional teams. 12-hour days they put in. They're all in the same and they still screw up every once in a while as well. They still sometimes fub the initiation. It takes so much coordination to do these sorts of dive comps. So taking these new teams and trying it out is, I mean, it's cool. Definitely try it, but it's definitely risky, and sometimes it just falls apart.
Now we're seeing a variable dive defense now coming out on the side of everybody from 2K. They are running the Winston instead of Diva or potentially Reinhardt for a little bit more standardized defensive style. It means that he's going to have the maneuverability to potentially push off and cut out some of these flankers. Now the attackers are running, again, a very strong standardized dive comp. It's going to consist of Winston, Diva, running Pharmacy in there, as well as Tracer and Lucio to polish everything off.
So these two teams, well, the defending team is definitely a little bit of a hybrid, something we don't normally see on Hollywood. Soldier goes down to 70 health. He has to coordinate a little bit. Winston dives in. He's on the Ana. Tracer's on her as well. That's terrible. Zelda goes down very early on with no Ana. This is rough. Fire as well as Zenyatta goes down. The Soldier, the back line is in just such disarray. There's no one there to peel for them. The Roadhog couldn't quite get back there in time, and that's going to be it very, very quickly. Finished off here by Team Arrow. Such a strong performance.
Coming out. We talked about if you're going to run dive comp, it means you have to come up with Fire Gusto, choose a directed path, and initiate immediately. And that's exactly what we saw from them. They had target prioritization. You saw healers went down very early. It's one of the big key components of a dive comp. You want to make sure that you take out those supports, disallow the healing, because you don't want to get caught up in a long, drawn-out fight. That's not what dive specializes in. Execution was just really well done by Team Arrow.
I mean, there's not much more you can ask for there. Jump in by Wepif. Great jump in. Takes out the back line. Takes out Soldier as well. There we go.
That slow trickle damage. Winston can get a lot of damage off if he's left uncontested and can get to those squishy targets. And saw
34%
really
healing of Lucio. That's above average.
That is really well done, all in all. And so here we go. We're going to be moving in, and that is going to be our last round. So we're going to bring in some people to do some interviews. And then we will also be doing drawing. Make sure you guys stick in with us. Stay active inside our chat, because you want that 76 Soldier.
Oh, yeah.
Soldier 76
They know
figure.
it. They want the
Well,
Soldier
want
76 chibi. I want the Soldier 76 chibi, man. So clearly everyone else wants it if I want it. But we'll be getting in... who are we going to be getting in? We're going to be getting an Arrow and Keishi, one of the players on his team, in just a second. And... all I have to say is that was just crazy performance by them. I feel like they played so well that we couldn't quite see enough of 2K's team. 2K's team. So how are you today, Arrow?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Hey, we're great. We're great. And Keishi as well. How was the
Yeah,
game?
hey, what's up, guys? It was pretty good.
Pretty good.
Kind of dominated them.
Sounds like Kishi's coming in was pretty good. Sounds like Arrow's already been talking to him and be like, you guys did well, but you did this. So, Arrow, how would you see your team perform on their first match? Did you enjoy it? Like, what specific tools were you guys working on this week, and did they execute them the way that you wanted to?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that we've been working on is just fundamentals, making sure we have the combos, we're engaging at the right time, those sort of things. And I think we did pretty well, so I'm happy.
So you guys played so well. What was the main challenge besides scheduling? Scheduling is obviously an issue for a lot of teams. But so you took these 6 players, right? You got them in a Discord. What is the first step? What was the first big challenge to whip these guys into shape?
So the very first thing that we did was really just talk about what it means to have a win condition for a comp. So addressing things like where we want to engage, what combos you want to use, what positioning we want to take, and like fallback patterns, all that kind of stuff. But the biggest, most important thing was just understanding the call, which is Casey's actually our shot caller, and following through on that. So we've improved a lot, and so I'd say like that biggest struggle is just understanding how exactly we want to approach a fight.
Well, that becomes the big factor for most teams, since you're pulling these guys in, working with them for the first time. A lot of them, it's probably their first time doing organized team style events. Figuring out that style of play that fits your team best is probably one of the biggest hurdles for a coach in the style of event, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's actually interesting. I really enjoy coming back and coaching these guys. They're a newer team, and so there's a lot of things that they came up on by themselves, of like ways that they want to approach things and struggles that they've encountered, that a lot of pro teams they are addressed early on in their careers. So it's really cool to go back and help these guys through a lot of the things that they may not have thought of, or are working through. So it's just really cool to be able to work on those foundation pieces with them.
And Keishi, how has it been in the event, getting the chance to? So you're dropped in this team with a bunch of players. You have a very high level. You have very high level coaching available to you. How has it been for you? And has it changed your outlook in the game? Does solo queue feel different now? How's your experience been?
So far the experience has been great. Arrow's an amazing coach. As a team, we've been together, playing. We're all in the same high school, so all of our players, like, we know each other very personally. We get to talk to each other a lot of days. We get to really build chemistry just both outside of the game and inside of the game. I think some of our biggest struggles though was actually scheduling, because we're high school students, right? We don't really have a lot of times to practice. But now that we've kind of like committed to getting that practice in, I think we can sweep these teams, honestly.
Oh, coming in with the big words. Look at that. Already getting ready to do the esports life. Coming in, it's like, no, it's time to banter, guys. Let's go.
Then, like, after that, we're gonna sweep Selfless. Then after that, we're gonna sweep them too. Man, easy. So that's pretty exciting. That's good to hear. What are you guys gonna be focusing on for this next week, Arrow? Were there any? I mean, this game went phenomenally. Were there any weaknesses you saw or weaknesses that you've seen in scrims that you want to address up in this upcoming week?
Yeah, so our biggest thing is going to be expanding to new comps. Right now, we've really been just focusing on a couple. I don't really want to give away which ones we have been,
of course.
But we want to expand a little more and putting a little priority on a couple of different heroes that we haven't. So I'm really excited to work over the next few weeks.
So Arrow, I've just been started asking all the coaches. Curious, if you end up winning this event, what are you wanting to get on your shoes, your specialty shoes? Is there a specific hero you wanting to get something on it? Like, what Overwatch related stuff are you going to get on them if you win?
When I first started, I was a Widowmaker main, so probably something with Widow.
That's cool. Yeah, that would look good.
Styling.
That would look good. Well, guys, congratulations on your win today, and good luck in the following week. Thank you for coming on with us. And any final words?
It was a pleasure. Thanks for having me. Thanks for doing this. I think it's really cool. Thanks for the community. So I really appreciate all the work you guys and the WaWa's Bootcamp team has done. So it's really cool.
Great to hear. Well,
can't wait to see what you guys have next week.
Yeah.
We're really looking forward to it.
For sure. See you guys next week. That was Arrow, everyone.
Yeah.
So now we have the time we've all been waiting for. Well, some people have been waiting for who really like this. We're going to be giving away the Chippy Soldier and drawing that.
I'm not waiting for it. I'm salty. I'm mad at all of these people that they stand a chance of getting it and I don't. But whoever wins, just know I'm going to be thinking bad thoughts about you.
All right, let's draw it. Let's see who it is. The admin will draw it in a little bit. We're in a couple seconds. But I just want to say thank you, everyone, for coming out. It's been a great event. I love it. It's been so fun. The people at WaWa's Bootcamp have made this just absolutely phenomenal. Truly. Go check them out one more time. Follow them on Twitter for updates. Follow them here for more of this event. Also go to the Discord if you want coaching. It's free, guys. We're not selling a product. This is not like a glorified infomercial. You just go. There's a bunch of volunteer coaches, Grandmaster above. You get coached. You get good. You profit.
Now, one other thing we did want to point out before we stepped away from this is the fact that while everybody's getting in and typing in and getting their activity, just know the fact that WaWa's Bootcamp is actually going to be running 2 teams now. WaWa's Bootcamp Fire and Ice. They're going to be participating in different events such as contenders.
And so we're going to have the roll in just a second. we're going to have... Yep, there's the giveaway again. So follow the Twitch, type in the chat. We're going to be rolling it. But real quick, I just think that it was so impressive also, the coaches. We've had them in for the interview. They were all so great, right? They all just seemed like not only the coolest guys, but they really knew what they were doing.
The level of just, like, you can tell that everybody was like really passionate about the event, really passionate about Overwatch. Coaches were all really, really approachable. And I mean, that's what you want. Like, these guys are all really great. So make sure you're giving support to all the players, all the coaches. If you see them inside the Discord or talking in chat, let them know. I mean, it takes a lot of guts to come up as a player and step up and play in your first event, specifically with people watching you, because you know it's like, oh my God, if I mess up, then like everybody's going to see it. Everybody gets a little bit nervous inside there. And kudos to all the coaches for being so supportive, participating in this event, and caring about the community so much to do something like this. I'm just really pleased with everybody that's been participating in. And looks like Nyx 12291 actually manages to take away the Soldier 76 pop figure.
Congratulations.
Kudos to him.
Put it on your shelf. I'd be the envy of your neighborhood. That's a really cool figurine. By the way, I'm not sure. I know there's a little bit of a sound glitch. I don't know if this got eaten up by it, but big shout out to Adamic and Tarkus. They were the two individuals that helped with the graphics of this event. So all the graphics you're seeing were made by them. Really cool. Also, shout out to the staff at WaWa's bootcamp, WaWa himself, HyperX Spiffy, Stray. They're all doing behind the scenes stuff. So big thanks to everyone who helped this event happen. Big thanks to all of you viewers who are just so great in the chat, so great, so cool, and of course to we have the giveaways and all that. It was super fun. I really enjoyed it, Matrym. I can't wait for next week.
I just can't wait to see how much growth all these teams put in, seeing what's all going to be happening next week. Make sure you guys tune in. Be sure that you're following this, and make sure you follow everybody on Twitter so that way you can keep up to date on when the next events happen. It's going to fall in the exact same time. Be sure to tell your friends about it because this thing is really cool. I can't wait to see where it goes from
It's so cool. You need to tell all your friends. Like, I mean, if you guys have been watching, you've seen some of the coolest plays, the coolest stuff. So I can't wait. Anyway, guys, I'm Skyline. This is Matrym, and this was WaWa's Bootcamp. I mean, that's all there is to say. Amateur Rising Tournament. We'll see you next week. Until then, well, have a great week.
When I think of the future, I think of the men and machines and friends and ideas and philosophy and spirits. Men and machines. And machines.
Are you trying your hardest to climb SR, but keep losing games? Do you waste your ults every time you try to use them? Maybe you have a few heroes you want to learn, but have no idea where to start? Then you should join WaWa's Bootcamp. WaWa's Bootcamp is a Discord server with tons of pros and coaches standing by to help you become better at Overwatch. Our coaches are all volunteers with tons of great advice for people who want to get better. You'll be spectated live as you play by one of our coaches, and given advice on the fly about what you're doing right and wrong.
When you get close range like that and you can't track them very well, do right-click melee combos. I cannot stress it enough.
Or you might go through a video of your performance and be given a detailed analysis of what you could do to improve.
You almost have graph soon. And this should be a big graph. This should be a huge graph here. Without a Rhine shield, you could just throw it anyway. not exactly. Yeah, you should have used it. This is not a fight you could win. You need to engage with the Graviton when you can.
I can guarantee that you will come away feeling like you have the tools to get better at this game. But don't take my word for it. Here's some testimonials from others who have joined us. Best of all, you can get all this personalized advice for free. We do this out of our love for this game and a desire to see the community grow. So what are you waiting for? Join WaWa's boot camp today.